Kincade Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, it happened. To no surprise. Well, there were a lot of people that didn't want to believe it, but no surprise.
No, there were people who...
To no surprise.
They were shocked.
A.J. Brown is a member of the New England Patriots. The Philadelphia Eagles traded away A.J. Brown. They got a first-round pick in return from the 2028 NFL draft, a fifth-round pick for next year's draft in 2027. And the Philadelphia Eagles will now look to Devontae Smith to be the number one wide receiver. And as numerous people have said to us over the months when we've been speculating this trade would happen, it'll be the aggregate where they try to figure out how do we figure out the 1,000 yards that we're losing. A.J. Brown, say what you want about last year and how it was ending and how ugly this entire offseason was. You just lost a guy that had 1,000 yards receiving in each of his 4 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. John Kincade, the day is here. Good morning.
It's finally here. It finally came down yesterday, and it's over. And we knew it was over. And look, there is a modicum of sadness, a modicum of relief. I felt more relief, I think, in the long term. I'll look at it and I'll say sadness the way it ended.
Yeah.
That's something I never understand people who blow up their own existences. I'm related to some.
Yeah.
I have dealt with it my whole life with some people.
You've seen it in this industry,
yeah,
man.
I've seen it in this industry. I hate it because I see people who are happy, who have things going well, and then they blow up their own lives. But sometimes they take other people down with them. And in this case, AJ took others down with him. No matter how some people are going to try to spin to you, he took other people down with him because that was a disruption. That was a distraction last year.
It was a problem that was dating back to week 4 of last season. Well, even before it. But as you pointed out on the bus ride back, Johnny and I were in Tampa for that Eagles-Bucks game, and they just won. They're 4-0. It was a million degrees.
Bad traffic jam.
You're just happy that they won, right?
Yes.
You're like, oh, my God, they have not won down here in forever. And even though the offense was dead in the second half and the defense was leaking oil, probably because the offense was dead and the heat was so bad, you're just saying, man, they got to win. I'm not usually like that. You guys have worked with me for 2 years now. I'm usually they won, but
yeah, you're more of that. I usually am more of a win and survive.
Yeah. But you know what? That day, knowing the heat, because I sat in there with you next to it.
It was terrible.
I was hey, they won, period. I was not dropping the butt.
No, let's celebrate it.
Until that Instagram post came.
Yeah, when that Instagram post came in, and honestly, it was a calculated act. A calculated act to throw a grenade in the middle of what should have been happiness.
Yeah.
And it was a happy locker room from all accounts. I had to go back last night and read the accounts of the locker room. Mm-hmm. They were happy. The players in that locker room were happy they had survived. Not happy with the way they played, though.
Sure.
Disgruntled with the way the offense had played in the second half. But they were happy with the way that they had come away. They were 4-0. Nobody thought they're coming out of September 4-0.
No, absolutely.
Now, I had said to you I thought 4-0 was more likely than 2-2. Mm-hmm. And that was more, man, sometimes the, blind squirrel gets lucky. But AJ wasn't happy. And at that point, it was going to be now we find out, too, from other reports that, again, what we thought, that was what the meeting with Mr. Lurie was about, and stay off of Instagram, and then it became Janky Rango. And
the streamer that I never heard of.
Exactly.
So, look, it happened, and it's over, and we're going to have some fun with the people that didn't believe it at some point today.
Oh, yeah.
But to start the show, now that it is over, and it is real, and it did happen.
Oh, so it did. Okay, good.
How are you feeling now that it is over? What type of reaction does A.J. Brown get out of you? 610-632-0975. You mentioned relieved and sad. I'm more angry right now. I will eventually get to sadness, and I will eventually give him a standing ovation whenever they introduce the 2024-25 Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial
No
Field
question.
in 2034. When they do that 10-year ring ceremony,
No question.
he deserves a standing ovation, much like Carson Wentz will
Yes.
deserve a standing
Yes.
ovation, even though some people might not do it. But right now I'm angry because you had such a good thing. And I understand self-goals, and I understand realizing true potential, and you want to try to achieve that. But, man, you had such a good thing going. And what we as Eagles fans have been looking for is this. What we as Eagles fans have been looking for is dominant wide receiver play because, man, it was a long time coming. What we were looking for was contention year in and year out, and we got it, and they won. We even whispered the D word, ladies and gentlemen. I did. That there was a chance.
You whispered it.
A chance. I wasn't saying that they have accomplished it, but there was a chance that they could become a dynasty if they win a second Super Bowl. And that wasn't good enough for one man. And that's the thing that pisses me off. One man, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough for A.J. Brown that this team was back-to-back division winners. It was not good enough for A.J. Brown that they had won 2 NFC championship games in a span of 3 years. It was not good enough for A.J. Brown that they won a Super Bowl. He was happy that they won, but he wasn't happy with how they won because it wasn't his show.
He wasn't happy they won. I mean, he was morose about it. He went to social media and was like, you know, I thought I'd feel good about it, but it just leaves me feeling like it's a different feeling. I thought it would satisfy me, and it didn't, and blah, blah, blah. And I knew it was nonsense. I knew it was the beginning of trouble. It was, because normal people don't act like that. No. They don't. They don't take it when everybody in a group is celebrating, when everybody who reaches a common goal is celebrating and is happy, and they haven't even had the parade yet. That is when everybody comes together and it is still one big party. And one guy decided to make it all about him, and that is when it all began. And I was worried about it then, and I sounded the alarms, and it played out. I did not think that was the way it was going to end, though. And again, I can separate the two. I respect the hell out of what A.J. Brown did in his first 3 years here. I applaud everything that he did, and I will never not acknowledge his greatness of what he did then. But what went down, the minute that crap started right after they won the Super Bowl, Saquon was getting all the love. Saquon was the star. Saquon was the focus. I want mine. I want my numbers. I'm not getting enough of the focus. It became the disease of me, and it tore him down.
Yeah. Now,
and that's a shame.
6:06. It's 6:08 now, but I saw it at 6:06.
What's that?
I thought it'd be quicker. I'm
What's
surprised it took 6 minutes. We got our first. This was media driven.
What do you mean media driven?
So, Sammy on our YouTube chat, I would like Sammy, and I'm saying Sammy even though I know he's not alone. So, Sammy, I'm not trying to single you out. You're just the first person that I saw say this. I know there are going to be many other people that have the take that this was media-driven, media drove him out of town, blah, blah, blah.
Media drove him out of town. So media forced him to put out a tweet after the whole thing after the Super Bowl about I'm not happy with the way things went. I need numbers. That's what motivates me. Not winning. So the media did that.
So Sammy's full comment reads as follows: "Make no mistake, the toxic media definitely played a role in A.J. Brown wanting out bad. The offense in Hurts was number one, but the media was a big part of it, no matter how Andrew and John want to spin it." So
how does he get that? How does he assemble that information?
So Sammy, you and your fellow Eagles fans that feel that way. I'm not saying fellow Eagles fans like all Eagles fans.
Sure.
I'm an Eagles fan. I don't believe it.
No, I don't believe it.
You're an Eagles fan. You don't believe it.
No, I don't believe it.
If we went through the timeline events, which we're going to later on the show, but I could start it now. Hell, before he puts out the post of when they won the Super Bowl and it wasn't good enough for him, what about the book?
Oh yeah, the book on the sideline. Oh, that was cute.
Can we stop acting like that was like normal? It wasn't. I know Connor bought the book, and Connor, I know you said it was very well written.
Good book.
And I know people made the case that he needed that on this. Come on. That was very much, are the cameras going to catch me? I know they're going to catch me.
Because
I'm going to read this book. This was also after he complained about the passing offense.
Yes.
This was after Brandon Graham. If you want to talk about media, Brandon Graham goes on a radio station and talks about how they don't like each other anymore.
And how Brandon Graham said one is doing everything he can to fix things, and 11 needs to do more. Brandon Graham in the locker room, one of the teammates who actually knows what's going on between the two of them, telling you Jalen Hurts is trying, A.J. Brown's not. So is Brandon Graham lying there? Brandon Graham ran his mouth too much.
I
BG
believe so,
ran his mouth a little too much.
Who knows
but-
how much we know or think of a riff if it wasn't for Brandon Graham.
And again, whatever will come out. And I saw Dylan, I saw Bill and everything like that. Now look, Bill has never been a reporter. Bill Colarulo. Dylan's never been a reporter. I have done the role of being embedded with the team every game, every single practice, every single game for an entire year, for multiple teams, for multiple seasons. Players are never going to say, yeah, that guy's a bad guy, bad teammate.
Yeah.
They're not going to say that. So when they say a guy's a great teammate or a great guy or whatever, and by the way, I absolutely 100% believe when they say that they believe A.J. Brown's a great guy. I think they believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I've ever heard, and by the way, everything I've observed, and any little personal interaction, very small personal interaction, I believe that's the case. And you can be a great guy. You can be a really, really nice person. And you can also be selfish as hell. And you can also be a guy in a workplace that drags the workplace down because you can't be a team player. You can also be that. And guess what? The players are not going to stand on a microphone and tell you that. They're not. I heard Bill talking about it yesterday, and I'm like, it's nonsense.
By the way, the one time somebody did speak out, Brandon Graham,
right?
We saw the bleep storm that created,
and they're not going to do that.
They don't want to do that again.
They don't do that, and you have to have, with all due respect, you have to have done the job to know what goes on, to have held the mic, to have been there every day. You have to be there at every practice, every game, and understand the players aren't going to tell you that. Now, behind the scenes, you'll hear more. And again, they can love a guy. You can love a guy.
Or 10 years from now, there's going to be a podcast that's going to have former Eagle so-and-so on, and they'll tell you the real
untold stories. By the way, if you believe stories about masseuses, you're an idiot. If you believe stories involve Hassan Reddick and this story, you're an idiot. That's all I'm going to tell you. You're just absolute nonsense. So I'm going to give you that.
That was a lot on the timeline last night, and I saw people saying, yeah, credible people are saying this.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Maybe it is, but I don't know who the credible people. I don't know who the credible people are that are saying this. I haven't seen that anywhere from a quote unquote credible person.
Exactly. And of course, just after the trade goes down, all of a sudden this is like, oh well, here's the story.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, sure. But
it's not like you had
stuff.
months to think of something like that.
It's great. By the way, Hassan Reddick, not even that close with either player. Not even that. It's nonsense. We know why Hassan Reddick's not here. His own selfishness, which ran him out of town because he stupidly overplayed his hand about his contract. That's why he's not here. Has nothing to do with any kind of masseuse or otherwise. That's why he's not here.
All right, another question, and then plenty of reaction today. It won't be two chatty Cathys all day. You know, we'll get calls, texts, tweets. We have YouTube's buzzing right now, but I want to read a YouTube comment, and then I kind of want to open up this to Connor, because Connor has had I kind of know what you're going to say, Connor, but to further the conversation, and again, people can climb in and answer this one as well. Our questions so far: how are you feeling now that it's over? What reaction does A.J. Brown get out of you? 610-632-0975. But Joe the Cynic checks in on our YouTube chat in response to our guy Sammy earlier that said, make no mistake about it, the media had a lot to do with this. Joe says these fans blaming the media are juvenile and have their head in the sand, not holding the player accountable. John, you said this a while ago. Since when in Philadelphia have we excused poor effort, or poor play, and just like, it's all right. All this trade talk, I kind of understand why AJ wants to get traded. Like, since when have we as a city been okay with this? And Connor, you've given the point about you're afraid of what else is out there, or we've been through some pretty bad wide receivers. But now that it's over, do you still feel that way?
I mean, I'm not going to defend the guy. I'm not going to sit here and say what A.J. Brown did was correct, right? That he did, like, he screwed over the Eagles. Bottom line, that is how we got here. It's not media-driven. It's not anybody but 11, right? But what I will say is the thought process of, damn, I kind of don't want this guy to leave. I want this guy to be part of the organization going forward, despite what he did wrong here, is looking at the history of the Philadelphia Eagles receiver position. And a lot of this generation of fans, like our generation, did not see good wide receiver play outside of a TO year in 2004 and what we got when A.J. Brown was here. And some folks don't want to go back to that. Like, this era of Eagles football will always be intertwined with A.J. Brown being on this team. And it's scary to let that guy go, but you had to.
You're speaking the truth, Connor. There's no lies detected there. It's great to see it go, but you can't take that in a vacuum and ignore that when guys are not giving their all to the team, that can't be ignored. No, I was thinking of it last night. I love Mike Sealski. You know, I'm a huge fan of Mike personally and professionally. I couldn't get over Mike Sealski last night on socials, and I even responded to Mike, and I'm like, I can't. It's like we watched two different Eagles seasons last year. He's expressing this great sympathy for A.J. Brown. I feel great sympathy for him. I understand, his desire to be great. And I'm like, if you have a desire to be great, you don't half-ass it at work. That's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. If you desire to be great, you don't half-ass it. Period. Those who desire to be great don't say, I'm not going to give it my all today. That's so ridiculous. And I couldn't believe that I saw Mike, one of the best columnists that this city's ever had. I think he's very provocative. I think he's very talented. Like, espousing that. I feel great sympathy for, I can really understand where AJ's coming from. I'm like, what the frick are you talking about? If a guy wants to be great, he shows me he wants to be great by giving full effort. By going out there and kicking ass every day. We're going to talk later today about Myles Garrett, right? About one of the greatest players in the game today, right?
Yep.
Myles Garrett playing on a crappy team with nothing to play for. And what does he do? He goes out and tries to be a game wrecker week after week after week after week. Just be a game wrecker.
Yeah.
Given full effort. He could easily say, man, I hate these Cleveland Browns. You know what? Trade me. And until you trade me.
Yeah, but he got his sack numbers, John.
Until you trade me, I'm going to go do it's so freaking ridiculous.
All right.
And it's a different era. And again, This is where I say to you, the Philadelphia sports scene has changed. I can tell you that's not being written by the Ray Didingers of the world back in the day, the Stan Hockmans, the Bill.
Right.
Well, great sympathy for a guy quitting on his team during games.
So that's another question. Why did we excuse it so much? Why did a lot of us excuse it so much? 610-632-0975. Now, one thing on this. This is a masseuse thing because just seeing the immediate response on YouTube, like, why are you dismissing it? Somebody said, the bull RJ said, just because a reporter didn't say it. I'm not clinically online, as you guys know. I'm very pop.
It is. It's good, though.
But I never heard of the guy that posted it, like this story yesterday.
You mean the fake story?
I never heard of this guy, and just kind of going through his old tweets, I don't think a lot of people did either. And now all of a sudden, he has the full story as to what went down. So I'm going to have to wait a little bit before I won't shut it down as much as you just did.
Well, I can tell you flat out from people within the Eagles, there are some factual inaccuracies in the story that he's got wrong. Even if the story was somewhat real, there's a Jamaican saying, if it doesn't go like that, it goes something like that. That's a saying. So it could be something like that. But the story he put out has factual inaccuracies in it that are absolutely factually inaccurate.
Yeah.
So the story that he's put out is factually inaccurate. There are things that are factually inaccurate in there.
Also,
so now, could portions of the story be true?
Maybe.
Maybe they could be. But the story that was put out is absolutely factually inaccurate.
Also, from a professional standpoint, we can't necessarily run with that.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can't.
Like,
gotta
like,
understand
you gotta
where
be
we're
fair.
at
You gotta
here.
be fair. Like,
Exactly.
we can't be like, who was the masseuse? Let's get to the bottom of this. And one more note. Somebody said they dismissed the story just like they dismissed the Joe Santoliquito story.
No, we didn't.
We had Joe on.
And I love Joe. Love Joe.
I believe Joe Santoliquito's story.
I believe Joe's story. Believed it the day he wrote it. Believe it now.
The timeline of events made a lot of sense.
By the way, it's great when people do the broad brush thing and they try to do it and they're like, oh, wait a minute. We have to do the broad brush and got to go like this because these guys didn't do that.
Yeah.
Joe. And Joe, by the way, Joe, very close to A.J. Brown's story, too. Knows a lot about the A.J. Brown story.
All right. Well, coming up next, your reaction. Check the Davis Honda text line. You can call in as well, 610-632-0975. For the longest time, Howie Roseman could only say A.J. Brown is an Eagle. Well, now that he's not, what does Howie Roseman have to say? Here's some of the quotes next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. And we're now at the NBA championship. How about the Spurs being down 3-2 in that series, fighting all the way back and beating the Thunder? So the championship is set. We have Spurs. We have Knicks with more ways to build. There is more value every time you play. You can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment, from spreads to player points to threes and more. Build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. Just go with the Wemby triple-doubles if you want. I think that always works. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Just head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The deal is done. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles' big deal got done yesterday as A.J. Brown was traded to the New England Patriots for a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder. Brown was a 1,000-plus yard receiver in each of his 4 years in Philadelphia, and the Eagles have their work cut out for them to replace his production. Obviously, there was a lot of reaction to the huge move. Tim McManus of ESPN talked about the compensation the Eagles received for Brown.
The Eagles obviously are going to miss Brown's production, but let's take a look at the compensation. So from general manager Howie Roseman's perspective, he almost gets back what he gave up in 4 years in between of immense success for Brown. That's a pretty good outcome for Philadelphia.
But it does leave the Eagles with questions in the wide receiver room, and we'll see who can step up in the wake of A.J. It wasn't the only big move in the NFL yesterday, as the Rams shocked the league by acquiring All-Pro edge rusher Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. Rams had Jared Verse, a 2027 first, and a future second and third-round pick to Cleveland. That's a move that changes the landscape of the NFC significantly. Phil started a series with the Padres tonight at the bank, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Aaron Nola versus Randy Vasquez, the pitching matchup. And the Stanley Cup Finals begin tonight between the Golden Knights and the Hurricanes. Amy Fuel joins us from the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. Zach Berman of The Athletic joins us at 9:05. This update is brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, develops better athletes and better people through sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Connor, what separates Middays with Marks from other midday shows?
Well, obviously, it's the voice you trust, Ray Dunn. And John Marks and Sean Brace are pretty good, too. No, they bring the energy every day. It's the number one place you need to go for your midday sports content.
Middays with Marks, every weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Running a small business. 97.5, The Fanatic.
This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right. Some comments from Howie Roseman. He spoke to members of the media yesterday. It was like off camera. There's no video anywhere. I guess it was like a quick phone call to members of the media. Hey, let's talk about the trade that we all knew was going to happen, even though some chose not to believe it. This was Howie Roseman, quote, I think that when we looked at the totality of the circumstances and having the conversations we had with him, felt like where we were going, where he was, that if we could find something that achieved our goals of getting a first-round pick going forward here in the near future, getting the money back to spend on other players on our team and other teams, that it was a win-win situation based on where he was and how he felt, we were open to that. I think that's conversations that we had with AJ. I think that he just felt for his family that this stage of his career, it was something that he was desiring, that he was looking forward to. And all of our conversations, very positive about his experiences, Philly, just felt like going forward here that was something that he preferred. He wanted to leave the Philadelphia Eagles. He did not want to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. You want to say he didn't like the offense. You want to say he didn't like the quarterback from a football standpoint. Have all the theories that you want. A.J. Brown made it clear that he did not want to be with the Eagles. Howie, by the way, brought up the trade deadline and his name coming up a lot, so that was real. A.J. Brown didn't want to be with the Eagles last season, like during the year. He did not want to be with the Philadelphia Eagles.
He wanted to be traded during the year. Like, bottom line.
And now he's not here.
That's what the antics were about when they were 4-0, when he was trying to throw a grenade in the locker room. That's it.
And that's what, look, Howie's doing all the GM speak. Positive conversations, positive this, positive that. Screw that. I'm pissed off.
I am
because
too.
It allowed his play to be impacted in a negative way. Right? His play, he sucked at the end of the year last year, A.J. Brown.
He was giving up on things. But the thing is, he had problems early in the year. The Rams game.
Yeah.
I mean, other games where he just quit on routes. It was a problem.
Well,
and more importantly, too, he was it's like I have Dylan McKinnon, our own Dylan McKinnon from Unfiltered. He was elected captain multiple times. Yes, he wasn't a problem till last year. And he was 4-0 when he started the bull crap last year. By the way, he had already been elected captain. Yes, he had already been elected captain. He was 4-0, and he couldn't stand it. He had to blow things up. That's on him, not anybody else.
Nope.
And certainly not on a masseuse.
Well, the man that broke the story that during the season he wanted to be traded.
Here he is.
Our man Joe Santoliquito. So there were rabbit ears, clearly. Joe's awake. He's ready to go.
Well, Joe and I have had dined together from 9th grade. So, I mean, like, he probably was listening. He had good quality listening. Good morning, Joe.
Our YouTube chat, some members thought that we dismissed the story.
No.
Not true. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good, buddy.
So Joe, I mean, you wrote about it, that A.J. Brown wanted to be traded during the season. Can we try to get to the bottom as to what started this, whether it's football related or not, with A.J. Brown because of the theories that were online yesterday?
Well, on the field, I know there were times where he was open and felt as if Jalen Hurts couldn't see him or couldn't find him. He felt he was stagnating as a receiver with the limitations that Jalen Hurts wins with. The other thing, too, that kind of got me, and let me just say, the primary source for this, I'll word it this way to both of you, is 100% accurate. It's as close to A.J. Brown as you can get, wink, wink.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
And I'm laughing because there were people that were, you guys were hearing the same things I was hearing. You made it up, got it again. Well, it's June 1st, and he's gone. I made the whole Carson Wentz thing up too. So
if you could make up something for July 1st and August 1st, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, the content's good.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Look, is the idea that AJ, that this was anything more than football? Can you dispel that?
It might have been a little bit, which I could talk about off the air. I'm not going to.
Sure.
I will say this, and I'm probably not the only one yesterday. This was written what appeared on Bleeding Green Nation yesterday afternoon was written in advance.
Correct.
Like I'm sure others have done across the board because everyone knew this was going to happen. And what got me, I remember when I did the original story back in January. Back in January, this was written about him looking and asking for a trade twice last season. Once where he thought his value was the highest after the Rams game, because if you look down at his game log, that was the best game he had last season, and he thought there'd be some takers there. I give Howie Roseman, I give the Eagles organization a ton of credit because they saw and they witnessed what happened in 2005 with the blow-up of Terrell Owens and how that whole scene blew that team up. I mean, we all lived it. They certainly weren't going to go through that again. And the very simple bottom line is you have a star receiver who's very popular with his teammates. They didn't want to create a schism on that team. You know what, AJ, you're not happy. Let's get out of here. You know, we're going to take care of this for you. And that was also part of the deal, which I don't think the Eagles are going to go public with. But think about this. After this cracks me up too. After Lurie meets him during the course of the season, AJ becomes the good soldier. Keeps his mouth shut, gets off social media. So here's the deal. You be the good soldier. You do what you're supposed to do, which to a point he did. I mean, again, we all saw what he did. We all believe A.J. Brown was capable, maybe far capable of doing more than what he did at the tail end of the season, certainly in that San Francisco playoff game. And he could not be his all, did not put his all out, which I think bothered, well, I strongly know it did bother some people on that team. But you know what, AJ, you want out, we're going to accommodate you. And that's what I tell you this, credit to the Eagles, because that, you know, the Eagles weren't going to try to fit a square peg through a round hole. They already went through the misery of the Terrell Owens situation years ago. They weren't about to go through that again with, again, a popular player like A.J. Brown. And you know what? Here's the deal. Bottom line, very simple. Everyone's happy. I know Jalen Hurts, I got a strong feeling, is happy because there were games, I don't have this factually, but I kind of have a feeling about it, is that there were games where they purposely looked at A.J. to appease A.J.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, and you can't do that. I mean, this is going to be a team and an offense that's going to spread the ball around, that's going to do its thing. But here, going back for a second in the Super Bowl season, we saw a team that was committed. We saw a team that everybody bought in. We saw a team that, you know what, I'm going to give up my numbers for the greater good. And everyone knew what they had to do to win. I mean, who's kidding who here? I mean, we all knew what they were going to do. Here, run Saquon behind a big, strong, healthy offensive line, and we're going to win with bully ball. And that's what they did. That's what they won with. Everyone bought in. So, you know, A.J. does his thing. Well, now, I cringe by saying this because I really like A.J. as a person. I want mine now. I did my role. I did what I was supposed to do. Now I want mine. And I think I was a part of this.
There are some that are going to spin, Joe, that, well, his teammates, they all think he's a great teammate, and nobody was upset with him or anything. I don't believe that to be true. I believe that there were some teammates who maybe weren't thrilled with some of the antics. Do you believe that is true?
I definitely, John, I'm on the same page with you, without a doubt. You know, there was a handful of that, without a doubt. But I also said this in the Finny Big story yesterday. If you put an anonymous poll out as to who they would have liked to have had traded, A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts, got a strong feeling a big percentage would have liked to see Jalen Hurts traded.
That they do not, that is a personal jiving with Jalen.
Yeah.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Here's the deal. Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts, too, is a really good dude. He's guarded. He's quiet. He's to himself a little bit. He's nowhere near as popular as AJ was in that locker room. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy with limitations on the field. He's willing to. We'll see how the season plays out. He's willing to. Let's see if he's good under center. People also forget Jalen Hurts is 6'1". He's not a very big guy, and that's a large offensive line. It's a reason why he doesn't throw down the middle quite often, because sometimes he just can't see that portion of the field as well as he can the side of the field.
So Joe, last thing, because, you know, I refuse to believe that this was just football. Like, I don't know what to believe. I'm not going to believe everything I read on social media, but I would imagine this is more than just football. You can't have that much success and just not be happy. So the two players that we'll always talk about are Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Hell, it probably helps us say that because Brandon Graham himself talked about their friendship being fractured. Clearly, you're close to the situation. How close were those two guys at the beginning? And was there something that fractured their relationship so much that this was not going to be fixed?
They were close in the beginning. Again, there's certain lines that I won't go over professionally. John, give me a call after you're off.
Yes,
you're
exactly.
Off the air.
Yes.
I'm not going to. But I got a hint, pretty strong hint. There might have been a little thing, some things going on behind the scenes, off the field. I don't know. I heard you guys say something about a masseuse.
Yeah, exactly. There were all kinds of there were all kinds of theories floating yesterday.
The theory that's out there on social media is that AJ and Hassan Reddick were both interested in the same masseuse.
Yeah,
and they were both canoodling with the same masseuse. And Jalen knew about said masseuse but didn't say anything. And that's what fractured the A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts relationship. So, again, I'm not going to believe everything I read.
Well, don't.
But I refuse to believe that this was just football. I refuse to believe that this was just Jalen and A.J.'s offensive connection is the reason why they're no longer together.
Well, just don't believe nonsense is what I would just tell you. Don't believe
there's an inkling of things that weren't just football.
Yes.
Yeah.
But guys not getting along is different than made-up stories.
We'll call you in 30 seconds, Joe. We appreciate
Joe.
the time this morning.
Thank you, Joe.
All right.
See you, buddy.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you,
Take
guys.
care,
There's
man.
Joe Santaliquido,
Peace.
who once again broke a story that people didn't believe. And
by the way, broke it right after the trade goes down, which it was already written. By the way, too, the idea that his teammates, nobody had an issue with AJ in that locker room. BS. Absolute BS.
Imagine giving it your all, and there's a guy that's not.
And as Joe just said to you there were teammates who were not happy with A.J. Brown. They were not happy with the way A.J. Brown dogged it.
All right, coming up next, we get a lot of your reaction to it. Text line, phone line, more on YouTube. We see that YouTube's buzzing this morning. We appreciate you being a part of the show today. You can text the Davis on a text line, 610-632-0975. Also, we'll check the poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel. I was polled up yesterday, Johnny. I'll explain more.
I'll just let that. Let
Kincade
that.
Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Hall of Fame sports writer Jason Stark.
The longest streak
Now back to Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, 6:48 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Let's check the Davis Honda text line. Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. By the way, the New England Patriots Twitter account has already posted a video of A.J. Brown. He arrived this morning walking to the practice facility. It happened. So now that it happened, how are you feeling that it is over? What reaction does A.J. Brown get out of you? And I think this one's even like the deeper question. Connor and I both wanted him back, right? Like, we believed that the trade talks were real, but we both wanted him back. Why? Why did we, Connor, I'm saying we as in you and I, even though I know a lot of Eagles fans out there would agree that we wanted him back. Why did we excuse the poor play? Because it was like he gave up, and that's why I'm now angry. That's not why I'm not sad right now. I'm angry. I'm mad. It's not why I'll give him the standing ovation. I respect everything he did. Sure, I respect what he did, but right now, if you say the name A.J. Brown, my blood's boiling before I'm going. The good times. Why did we excuse it? What do we got on the text line?
Chris from Morrisville checks in and says, I feel like a handful of the greatest receivers were me guys. They were concerned with their stats over everything. So, yeah, it sucked it played out this way, but I kind of feel you don't get dominant A.J. Brown without this attitude. I'm thankful for his time here, but also thankful this is over.
You're thankful that it's over because we don't have to talk about it anymore. I'm not thankful that it's over. I mean, I have the Eagles' all-time receiving leaders right now, Johnny, in front of me.
Okay.
A.J. Brown is ninth all-time in Eagles franchise history. If you were to just do wide receivers, because the game has changed over the years, even though the Eagles have been very late to the party of dominant wide receiver play, it's still amazing that Harold Carmichael is number one. If it's just wide receivers, he's fourth all-time in Eagles franchise history.
Correct.
And in 2 seasons, he probably would have been the second leading receiver of all positions in Eagles franchise history. And in 3 seasons, he probably passes Harold Carmichael. He would have been the all-time receiving leader in Eagles franchise history had none of this happened. Even
Correct.
when he was upset, he still had 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And it wasn't good enough for him.
No, it wasn't good enough. It's bottom line. Winning a Super Bowl wasn't good enough. That's it. I mean, it's like I can't do anything more about it. It's where it's at. It's where we are.
Even in 2024, the year where they ran the ball to the Super Bowl, he had 1,079 yards. In 13 games, he missed some time because of injury. Imagine if he plays the other 4 games. He might be a 1,500-yard receiver, despite not being the focal point of the offense, and that still wasn't good enough for him.
Imagine if you could just find a way to be happy. Just find a way to be a good teammate. Or, if you're not happy, find a way to just do the job you contracted to play. And you were given 2 contracts for huge money by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
How about honoring, as a professional athlete, the contract that you signed? How about doing that? But no, couldn't conduct himself like a professional. So there it is.
I'm really rooting for the Patriots to suck this year.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I know there's people that are, he's not here anymore, so what do I care? No, I want him to fail. I hope he finishes with 100 yards receiving next year. I hope he stinks. I hope the New England Patriots stink.
I'd love
obviously.
to see it. Yeah, I'd love to see
I'm rooting for A.J. Brown's demise as a football player with the New England Patriots now. And at the 2034 10-year ceremony, I will stand and applaud for him.
Correct.
But right now, I hope he fails. What else we got?
Joe from Media checks in and says, why did we excuse AJ's intolerance? Because we were enamored by the results when he did produce. Like it or not, that seems to be the society we live in today. Take the good with the bad if the good meets your needs.
I don't think that's incorrect at all. I think people will do that.
Yeah, but there are other players on that Eagles team that also won, and I have not been this annoyed with. I heard you guys yesterday. I was listening.
Quitting on your teammates,
right? Like that. What?
Can you think of who's done that? You guys as Philly fans, who's done that?
That we celebrated?
No. No. Who's celebrating? Nobody.
That's what I'm saying.
We
don't
celebrate. We don't celebrate it because it would be stupid to celebrate it. But if you're talking about it, we're talking about Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons
quit on his teammates. A.J. Brown quit. during games. Quit. And people are celebrating like fanboys. Ooh, we love you, AJ. It's easy to acknowledge what he did the first 3 years and be a huge fan of him and say he was freaking awesome. But then you can look at what he did last year and say it's completely unacceptable.
Yeah, but it shows you the strength of what a Super Bowl means in this town. I think that's a large basis for why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, but you know what? We should have had more. I'll say it. Like, I know it's hard to win in the NFL, right? Like, it's hard to be a dynasty, and so it's not just easy. But we should have more. We should be having conversations of, all right, last year sucked, kind of like 2023 sucked. Let's get back out there. 2023 sucked. They won a Super Bowl in 2024. Just because last year sucked doesn't mean it's over. And this should still continue. He's gone now.
And as the texter says, Connor just made the point. In today's society, people are like, yeah, it's just the way it is. People half-assing it at work, not giving it their all because their own selfish desires. It's now people will excuse make for it, and people will accept it. And it's BS. It's complete and utter nonsense. It's unprofessional. It's ridiculous. It's childish. It's immature. It is stuff that should never be tolerated. But there are people that will fanboy out and go, well, we love AJ, though, what he did for us.
Yeah, I love what AJ
I love
did
what he did for us, too.
But right now, he gets the pissed off emotion.
But it's terrible. It's unbelievable.
All right. Coming up next, not the only trade that took place on June 1st. We were all waiting for this one. We were not waiting for the one that happened before it. We'll react to the change in the NFC. Also, we will speak to the people that never believed this was ever going to happen. You have a voice as well. You can let your emotions out too. Hopefully there's also a my bad thrown in there.
We'll see.
We'll see. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A.J. Brown traded. I'm Connor Thomas and the Eagles. Big deal got done yesterday as A.J. Brown was traded to the New England Patriots for a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder. Brown was 1,000-plus yard receiver in each of his 4 years in Philadelphia, and the Eagles now have their work cut out for them to replace his production. It wasn't a trade that caught a lot of people by surprise, but there's a lot of production to fill. Steve Smith of ESPN talked about Devontae Smith being ready to step into that role.
Devontae Smith, he's a number one wide receiver. He's been waiting for that opportunity. He runs great routes. They move him all over the field. Now with the new offensive coordinator, they're going to move him around, and he's going to shine and show you that he's a hell of a wide receiver.
We'll see if the Eagles offense can be as productive in the wake of the A.J. Brown trade. It wasn't the only big trade yesterday. The Rams shocked the NFL by acquiring all-pro edge rusher Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. Rams sent Jared Verse, a 2027 first and a future second and third round pick to Cleveland, a move that changes the landscape of the NFC significantly. The Phillies start a series with the Padres tonight at the bank, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Aaron Nola faces Randy Vasquez in the pitching matchup. And the Stanley Cup Finals begin tonight between the Golden Knights and Hurricanes. Game 1 is an 8 p.m. puck drop this evening. Amy Fadul joins us for the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. Zach Berman at The Athletic joins us at 9:05 to talk about the AJ news. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
YouTube.com/975 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
All right, as we start the 7 o'clock hour here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic, you know what today is going to be all about. It's reacting to the trade that sends A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots. Eagles get the 2028 first-round pick from New England and a fifth-round pick in the 2027 NFL draft. And as we are checking social media, we are wondering what stories may drop, what theories may drop, and we will give them to you anytime we see them and read them, and we'll try to figure out just what happened between Jalen Hurts and the A.J. Brown, the Philadelphia Eagles. I say Jalen Hurts because I have to imagine there was something between those two players, and I imagine that it is more than just football. I just don't know what to believe.
Yeah, it's not a story, a made-up story about a masseuse. I can assure you it's not the story that was posted that has made the rounds on social media is full of factual inaccuracies. Now, could portions of that somehow have been true? Who knows? But factual inaccuracies abound from multiple sources as I source-checked that story. And even we did during the commercial break. Yeah, that story not really one. But people are enjoying running with it.
But look,
thinking it's real.
There's got to be something. Again, I can't imagine that A.J. Brown said, I want to be traded because I'm not getting my slant route thrown at me anymore. Like, they won a Super Bowl.
This is about football. It's not about the personal. This is about football.
Well, that's where it starts. This
might be
I'm talking about
that's added
Brandon
to it.
Graham saying they're not friends anymore.
Yes.
I don't think was over football.
Well, the thing is, too, is when you start letting it be known when you're a grumbly Gus about someone else's performance at work or someone else is holding you back, then that would then cause problems between two people as far as their personal relationship.
That's what we say about
too.
Connor all the time.
I'm
working on it.
Holding us
I'm
back.
not perfect.
By the
He
way,
did such a good job in your seat yesterday.
I'm sure he
and
did.
Friday. It was amazing.
I listened for like 20 minutes yesterday. I was driving back from the shore. I listened. Myles Garrett is now a member of the Los Angeles Rams, by the way. That was the trade that we were all waiting for on June 1st. For months, we were waiting to get Adam Schefter to tweet out that Myles Garrett was going to the Los Angeles Rams in a crazy trade where the Rams give up Jared Verse, who is a very, very young and talented pass rusher for the Rams.
What did we say this morning about Jared Verse? Slight notch below Jalen Carter.
Yeah, the dude's a stud.
Like, I think him and Jalen Carter are in the same conversation. I think most general managers would take Carter over Verse.
Yeah, especially interior pressure.
But same conversation.
But Verse is a stud, but he's not Myles Garrett.
He's not Myles Garrett.
This kind of goes back to the Eagles fans that didn't want to part ways with Nolan Smith for Myles Garrett. And I go, look, there are levels, multiple levels from where Nolan Smith is to Myles Garrett. Same goes to say about Jared Verse, who's better than Nolan Smith. He's still far away from Myles Garrett. The Rams also trade a first and a second and a third-round pick in order to get Myles Garrett. Bleep them picks as you've told us numerous times.
Believe me, he's. I was on ESPN last night during the nighttime show talking about. I mean, Les Snead, he's a go-for-it kind of guy.
Yeah,
and
I respect it.
And they went for it last time. Believe me, you two would be best of friends because he's of that belief. Plus, last time the Super Bowl was in L.A., he did everything he could to win the Super Bowl the year they were in L.A., and he's doing it again this year.
Yeah. So the Rams are very, very dangerous. They were already dangerous. They were already favorites in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl, and they were favorites in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. Now you add Myles Garrett to the mix. So that was a big story in the world of the NFL yesterday. But, of course, we were waiting for the big story here in Philadelphia, and that was the trade of A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown now a member of the New England Patriots. So real quick, we'll get back to the text line. Part of me wants to be a D-bag, but part of me also just goes, all right, it's over and done with. For the people that didn't believe that this was ever real.
And did you see, though, real quickly, the Philly dogs?
Yes.
And the fine job they did of paying off their bet immediately.
I saw that.
I'm not going to call out yet the other people that were involved that have not paid their bet yet. But I will. They're on the clock to pay off their bet. The Philly dogs, they DM'd me. They DM'd me immediately. I DM'd them back, and I was like, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are absolutely awesome.
Look.
And I think that's a great way to do it.
Nobody wanted this to happen. Nobody
No.
said the Eagles should trade A.J. Brown. Like, I don't even remember anybody saying that.
No.
It was always real, though. And I understand the Diana Rossini thing made it such a different story, right? When Rossini was the one that was tweeting the most. I think you even had like some sort of research thing that
Oh my gosh.
she tweeted it like 70% of the time.
She was all over it.
And then when the Vrabel Rossini stuff comes out, there are a lot of people that were saying, see, none of this was real. This is just Mike Vrabel trying to use somebody in the media to acquire a player that he wants on his football team. Every tinfoil cap theory that there was just that. A tinfoil cap theory.
They were all fake.
A.J. Brown did not want to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. I started skimming through an article that Jeff McClain wrote. It's been like that for a long time. This didn't just happen week 4.
And by the way, the Joe Santoliquito article hit fast. Now the Jeff McClain articles hit. And I told you that Jeff McClain was one of them that I thought would hit. Now there should be another one.
Yep.
The 72-hour rule has been blown out of the water. They're all there.
He wanted to leave the Eagles. It wasn't you, the fans.
It wasn't us.
I know there's going to be people that are going to say it was the media.
No.
Ultimately, A.J. Brown was not happy with how the offense was being run, and he was a selfish player that wanted to win, but wanted to win his way. And I know that was hard. I think people are realizing it now. That was hard for people to really be like, well, why would he want to leave such a good situation? I get it. I have the same question. Why would a guy who is a contender year in and year out want to leave? Some guys are built different, and he didn't want to be here anymore. And it's not the city. It's not the fans. It's not the media. It's not where he lived. It's not he didn't like his house. He was a New England Patriots fan as a kid. He wanted to be the focal point of an offense. He just got 2 things that he wanted.
And when you have the opportunities, it's important to know that you are completely committed to the job that you were in. And if you can't give complete commitment to it, or you want to change something about it, that you change it, that you do and you step away. So in one word, that's fine. But while you were doing the job, you're supposed to be completely committed to it. He wasn't. He was an unprofessional. Absolutely unprofessional.
Now, S. Fitz on the YouTube chat. Well, why are we mad? We got a first-round pick for a declining asset. I called in you guys yesterday. The fact that they were still going to get a first-round pick,
amazing.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Look, I don't know how declining A.J. Brown is. We'll see.
Yeah, you do.
We'll see in a more pass-happy offense. It's a little bit different in New England than it was here. If A.J. Brown's production is still the same or it goes up, then he's not a declining asset. To me, the number one thing I'm celebrating is he didn't want to be here, and you still got a first-round pick. Usually when a guy is demanding a trade, the value drops in terms of what you get in return.
I think that's fair.
They got a first-round pick out of it. That's the thing that I'm still kind of most amazed by.
And nobody was at the table.
No. And they got a first-round pick.
Mystery team, baby. The mystery team was interesting.
Yeah, the mystery team was from a 215 area code, and it was Howie Roseman's cell phone.
Do you believe, and it's one of the questions I have down here for you guys, do you believe there was ever a mystery team?
No.
I sort of believe there was, because I'm like, what kind of an idiot would New England have to be to blink? Because they knew the Rams were not in. By the time they made the deal, they signed off on the deal, the Rams were already, like, any talk that the Rams could have been in was out. So they blinked.
The only thought I had, and we talked about this last week, was there a team that on May 30th was like, why aren't we that interested? Like, this guy's really good. But I don't think it ever caught much steam. I think it was New England or bust the entire way.
Yeah, I think teams also, though, and here's one of the things too that I think a lot of people will not want to acknowledge, especially the AJ big time fans. I think a lot of teams looked at his behavior and said, "Yeah, I don't need it. Don't need it. We don't need this around our team. It's not what we're looking for."
Yeah, guys, he was a bad teammate.
I mean, it's the whole.
I know Andrew DiCecco, our man, will push back on it, right? Yeah. Like, I can't. Like, you might be a great teammate 99 times out of 100. But if you have a bad day as a teammate where you are a reason why your team loses.
Multiple bad days.
I will point out that one day and say, yeah, but that can't happen again. The problem was it wasn't just one day. To your point, it happened multiple times.
And again, as Joe Santoliquito just shared with us, it was not – the idea is pure fiction that people within the Eagles locker room were just uniformly, oh, A.J. was great. We love A.J. He was – There were players who were not pleased with his antics this year. And Joe had to say it on the air for somebody, and I'm glad that somebody is saying it, because somebody who is one of those reporters, because it has been made out to be, well, AJ's just a great teammate, and that's all his teammates say about him.
Dude, imagine if you're Landon Dickerson, who was playing through God knows what.
Uh-huh.
And he's playing through all this pain.
Yep.
Cam Jurgens has the back issue, playing through it. And A.J. Brown doesn't necessarily give it his all because he allowed his emotions get the best of him on the field.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at that guy like, yeah, you're a true warrior out here with us. I'd be pissed off.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you would choose Landon.
He was the guy that was banged up the most.
And it's the truth. What these guys did, those guys did to sacrifice to play, and the fact that people would think that, oh, no, they all just loved it. Like, AJ's a great teammate. No.
So I want your guys' reaction on this while we're talking about his teammates, because the Jeff McClain article has a player source here.
Okay.
And an interesting quote. So this is from a player source in Jeff McClain's article in the Inquirer on A.J. Brown. Quote, he heard what others on the outside were saying about him losing a step, and I think he got too preoccupied with that. We didn't think that in here, but he saw Jalen in the pass offense as keeping him from proving that wasn't the case.
So, again, a personal agenda.
Yeah, so he wanted to show the world that he did not lose a step, but Jalen and the offense did not allow him to prove people wrong. And so he goes, screw you guys. I'm going to prove people wrong in a different situation.
I'm being held back.
That's what he's saying. He didn't want to be here. He didn't want to play for the Philadelphia Eagles anymore.
Line.
You could say that all this was created, media-driven, blah, blah, blah. He didn't want to play for the Eagles. He did not like the way the offense was being played. He was being very selfish. And I know, we had Kurt Warner on during the season last year. Hey, guys like that, there's guys like that in the NFL.
Yeah, there are.
Patrick Surtain gets upset that teams don't throw his way. He's so good that teams don't throw his way, and it bothers him. He wants to be attacked to show people how good he is. A.J. Brown gets double-teamed, so maybe the game does not call for A.J. Brown because that guy's wide open, this guy's double-teamed, so we're going to go in a different direction. A.J. doesn't like it because he doesn't get his stats. Okay, he wants to be more involved with the offense. He believes he's being held back, and that's why he wants to be traded. That's why he was traded. That's why he's no longer a member of the Eagles.
Bottom line.
All right, what do we got?
Stats.
What do we got on the text line? Davis on a text line. Feel the Davis difference. Check him out in Burlington. And then we'll check the poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Avidan Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. I was polled up yesterday, Johnny. I took to social media, and I did a poll on my own personal account.
Oh, I thought you were fishing. See, Connor guessed something else.
I didn't even want to wait till this morning.
I guessed fishing.
And I'm curious to get your answers and curious to get your reaction to the results. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
So we led off the segment talking about the people who did not believe the trade was happening. And one of the folks on this show who led that charge was Renee from Fox Chase.
What's up, Renee?
Hi, Renee.
It says, well, I am a woman of my word, and I was completely wrong. I had convinced myself he would stay. You guys are right, and I was an idiot.
Renee, no, you weren't an idiot, Renee.
We love you, Renee.
You were not an idiot, Renee. You just bought into it because you didn't want to believe it was happening.
I didn't want to believe it.
Nobody wanted it to happen.
I don't ignore Adam Schefter, Jeremy Fowler, Tim McManus, Jeff McClain, Joe Santoliquito, every credible reporter in the world. I don't ignore that.
Well, what annoyed me is the people were discrediting the credible reporters and claiming that they were making crap up.
By the way, can we have real quick? I'm not saying
what's wrong.
That there are 0% accuracies with this masseuse story because I don't know.
No, I'm telling you.
But can we be adults here for a second? A lot of you, not saying everyone, a lot of you discredited Tim McManus, Adam Schefter, Mike Garafolo, Diana Rossini, Jeff McClain, Joe Sanliquito. Who else?
Oh, my gosh.
Brandon Lee Gouton.
But an anonymous story.
But this guy
yes.
on social media it's gospel. This is 100% accurate.
So stupid.
You denied every report for months. But this guy goes to social media.
This is
and it's accurate.
This was the story.
I'm not saying it's not, but I just find it funny that you refuse to believe the reporters that are there every day talking to every single player. And you believe Simba or whatever the hell the guy's name is on social media.
I'm telling you 100%. The story that is put on that thing about the masseuse, it has multiple factual inaccuracies on it. So
I find that part funny.
That's multiple factual inaccuracies.
Oh God.
So it is. So it's not. So that story is untrue. Could elements of it be true? Again, who knows? But it's untrue.
All right. Poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. We love Dr. Avedon Appel.
He was here yesterday.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was here yesterday.
I'm sorry that I missed him.
Yeah, we saw him
Twitter
yesterday.
poll is always strong. It's strong for 4 hours every single morning. I put this out yesterday, though, Johnny, so it's been going strong for more than 4 hours.
Interesting.
It's been going strong for 13 hours.
Wow.
Call your
I don't
doctor.
think. Yeah, exactly. Or call CNN.
If you were at the first Eagles-Patriots game where A.J. Brown returned to Philadelphia, when his name was introduced, you would, and I had two options, and I know people always love to give a third option. Well, I would do this. No. Answer the freaking question. Give a standing ovation or boo. Not, well, I do golf clap.
Well, what if it's not their? You say answer the question, but what if it's not their answer?
I gave two options. Give a standing ovation or boo.
But what if those
I
aren't
gave
their
you
answers?
two options.
Deal with it.
All right?
No.
Do you want the chicken or the steak? You can't go, well, I want the fish, John.
No, because people would not do one of those two things.
Fine, you sit over there.
Like not being a booer. Like somebody not being a booer at a game, like grown men being booers is sort of strange.
All right. Well, what would you, if you had to pick, which I'm making you pick, standing O or boo? Because I'm saying boo.
Because my answer would be complete indifference. I would be complete. Now, if you tell me he's coming back for the 10-year.
No.
Then,
First game back.
shut up.
Cooper, answer the question.
No, I'm
Go
not.
ahead,
Because,
Connor.
no,
You
because I
answer
wouldn't
the
do
question.
either.
Standing ovation or boo?
I would boo.
Yeah, because I'm angry.
Yeah, I'm angry too, but I'm not going to be a booer.
60% standing ovation.
Really? Because our poll, we re-put this out from the Fanatic account, and right now it is 55-45 boo.
Well, now that the masseuse story came out,
That's the other 10%.
that changes everything, you know?
It's amazing. Your point is hilarious though. That like the masseuse story.
Like that's the
People
why.
are like,
why is that being taken as gospel?
Oh yeah,
but
that's the
everything
story.
else was like, nah, that's not real.
Because social media is weird, and this is just the life we live now.
So freaking stupid.
All right, what else we got on the text line?
All right, we have plenty of people checking in on the A.J. Brown conversation. Some people are just ready to move on. Colby in Central PA says, treat this with a business-like handshake, turn the page, and be where your feet are. It's time to put in the work and get this team in the headlines for the right reasons. Double down on the guys who are here, and don't look back on the time with
Yeah, but
AJ.
I'm going to tell you right now. Let's see. What time did the Eagles play the first game of the season? When's their opener? They're like a 4 o'clock.
4:25 p.m.
All right,
4:25
p.m. 8:20 Sunday Night Football, Patriots Seahawks. I will be watching.
Okay.
And I will hope that the corners of the Seattle Seahawks, including Josh Jobe, lock down A.J. Brown, and he finishes with 2 catches for 23 yards on 6 targets.
With some of those drops?
And he complains.
Some of those alligator arm drops?
Maybe. Well, no, because he's happy with where he's at now. The Eagles should take the approach that the Texer had. Why do I have to? It's like the Jared McCain thing.
Yeah,
well,
we don't
it's
have
over
to.
and done with. Don't pay attention anymore. No, I'm going to.
No, we can pay attention to it all the time.
So I get it. You have every right to not pay attention to A.J. Brown. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to watch. I'm going to do an A.J. Brown check-in every single week.
Yeah, no questions asked. Like, it's absolutely pay attention to it. We don't have to, the team's not going to, if you think they're going to give a damn about tracking what A.J. Brown does in New England, they don't care. Now, some of his teammates that are buddies of his, when he's on TV, they'll watch. They'll watch. Some of them that say, screw you, will watch. And that's just the way it is. That's fine. I'll watch. I'll watch to see what he does, and I will root like hell against him also.
Yeah.
But
right.
when he comes back for a 10-year thing and you're acknowledging when he actually gave his all to the team,
Yes.
I'll be glad
I
to
will
stand
give him
and
that standing
cheer.
ovation.
Give it to him anytime.
All right, what else we got?
So Joe the Cynic checks in, says, when AJ returns, I think a lot of his reception is determined on how both organizations will be at the time. If the Pats are more successful than the Eagles, I think the majority will voice displeasure.
Yeah, I mean, look at how it went with Andy Reid. Right?
I-
Andy Reid goes to the Chiefs and wins, and what do we say? Oh my God, he can win there, but he can't win here. Even though the problem is AJ did win here.
Yeah,
AJ
and
Brown won a freaking.
AJ did win
He
here.
won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, and that wasn't good enough.
So you're telling me next year, if the Patriots play in Philadelphia against the Eagles, and let's say the Pats had a bad season, the Eagles have a good season, AJ's going to walk in, that name's going to be called, and what, we're going to cheer him?
No, I'm still booing him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the outcome for either side, it's the action of forcing your way out that we're booing.
He didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
He didn't want you, man.
He didn't love
Why don't he
the
want
way
me, man?
these people cheered for him and stood up for him and made up these Scooby-Doo scenarios for him. It's hilarious. Now, by the way, next year, 2027, the year you have their number one pick, A.J. Brown and the Patriots come to Philadelphia. They come here.
Is that fully confirmed?
Yeah, they come here next year. Patriots and the Jets come here next year on the schedule, 2027, and we go to the Dolphins and the Bills.
See you then.
All right.
See you then. 2027 schedule for the Eagles. Patriots, Jets already on the home slate. So that's already there. You play that. It's that division in the rotation. So the Patriots come here. So you're going to get an A.J. Brown home game in 2027 here. So you're going to get the opportunity to see him. Hopefully A.J. Really gets a real warm welcome. Yeah. Tell me it's really warm.
All right.
Be nice.
This story will end today because we have plenty to react to until another story drops, and then there will be more to react to. All right, coming up next, the timeline of events with A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles. What happened? Who knows? Well, we could talk about how strange things have been for a while now. And when you kind of go back chapter and verse of what took place, how do we excuse it? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
When you've been in business for 4 decades, that means you are highly, highly successful. When you deal with people's money, that's dicey business. And Dan White & Associates helps you manage your money, helps you plan for your retirement, helps you plan to be able to pay for the college education, get that next big house. They host educational seminars throughout Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. Dan White & Associates educates their clients. They are different than most financial advisors because they teach you about retirement planning, and they help you create income in retirement that will help you support the lifestyle that you want to live. Mine involves a lot of golf, a lot of laying by a pool, and a lot of travel. What about you? You want to find certainty in your financial future? Have the first conversation, because a lot of times those finances in retirement can be an overwhelming topic. They've got offices in Glen Mills, PA, Middletown, and Lewis, Delaware. And they're going to offer you a complimentary no-risk consultation. So you go and you have a private one-on-one conversation about your plans, your money, and what you're doing now. There might be a tweak to your plan that you're currently doing, or there might be something that totally puts you on the path towards great future success. Check out danwhiteandassociates.com on the web. Once you have the first conversation, I'm telling you, it begets a second. And then once you have that second one, boy, you're going to feel that peace of mind. Check out danwhiteandassociates.com on the web.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
AJ to New England. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles' big deal got done yesterday as AJ Brown was traded to the New England Patriots for a 2028 first-round pick and 2027 fifth-rounder. Brown was a 1,000-plus yard receiver in each of his 4 years in Philadelphia, and the Eagles had team success as well, winning the NFC twice, the Super Bowl once. The Eagles have their work cut out for them to replace his production, but Tim McManus of ESPN talked about the compensation they received back for trading AJ.
The Eagles obviously are going to miss Brown's production, but let's take a look at the compensation. So from general manager Howie Roseman's perspective, he almost gets back what he gave up in 4 years in between of immense success for Brown. That's a pretty good outcome for Philadelphia.
It wasn't the only big trade in the NFL yesterday. No, if you missed this one, well, the Rams shocked the NFL by acquiring All-Pro edge rusher Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. Rams sent Jared Verse, a 2027 first and a future second and third round pick to Cleveland. That's a move that significantly changes the landscape of the NFC. The Phillies start a series with the Padres tonight at the Bank, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Aaron Nola versus Randy Vasquez, the pitching matchup. And the Stanley Cup Finals begin tonight between the Golden Knights and the Hurricanes. Game 1 is at 8 p.m. That's the puck drop time for tonight. Amy Fadul joins us from the 8 o'clock hour until the end of the show. Zach Berman, The Athletic, joins us at 9:05 for a deeper dive into what in the world went on with A.J. Brown. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Philly sports talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, was it AI or not? A.J. Brown's statement yesterday after the trade was official.
It was.
Eagles Nation, thank you for welcoming my family and me with open arms from day one. This city, this locker room, and this fan base will always hold a special place in my heart. To my brothers in that locker room, thank you for going to battle with me every single day. The memories we made together on and off the field are something I'll carry with me forever. To the coaching staff, trainers, equipment staff, cafeteria workers, and the cleaning crew, thank you for everything you do behind the scenes to keep us going. There are so many people in the building who make it possible for us to go out there and compete, and I'm grateful for all of you. Playing for this city has been an honor, and I'm thankful for every moment I had in Midnight Green. Thank you, Philly. Much love always. God bless.
I believe those are genuine thoughts. I don't know that he wrote it, but I believe it's genuine thoughts, and that's how he conducted himself. He was loved by the security. He was loved by people there, so I believe those are genuine.
Somebody put it into an AI generator to see how
close it was.
97% of it was considered AI, except for the Eagles Nation and number 11.
Okay, and believe me, as a college professor, I know I have those tools too, where you can see that.
Yeah,
you can see that, and it does seem that way. But I believe the thoughts are genuine, and I believe the thoughts between the people around the building.
It was a great team.
And AJ. He's a genuinely good like a nice person and everything. So I think they feel that way about him. Now, the AI-generated photos.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole nother issue.
With him as a Patriots fan.
Now, that is it. That's it. That, to me, is a whole level of just, to me, is strange. Like, that's really strange.
Because it's what he always wanted.
Creating fake photos of your childhood is strange to me. That, to me, speaks to something. I don't know what it speaks to. I don't have a degree in that, but I'd love to do the brain shrink on that one. Is that, let me show you how much of a fan I was as a kid by creating fake photos with AI of my childhood. Showing you something that didn't happen.
It's weird.
Showing me something that didn't happen. That, to me, speaks to something that I'm sure somebody with more techno expertise of the brain could explain to me. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird to me. Let me show you something that didn't happen as I try to explain to you what happened. That's weird to me. Very odd.
All right. What else is odd was the timeline of events. Let's go through this before we, get some more reaction. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas covering a little bit. So let's really start this going back to the comments by A.J. Brown following the Panthers game. Because that's when it all really started, right? Like, we were pointing out that the offense wasn't great, the passing offense, but there was no drama. Do we remember any drama?
No.
After the 2022 season, getting to the Super Bowl?
There was none. No, there was not.
2023, there was drama, but nobody was pointing it to A.J. Brown. It was more so the Matt Patricia and the organization.
It was
I don't remember A.J. Brown drama in 2023.
No, the drama in 2023 revolved around Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
That's where the drama was, an offensive.
And Jalen and Nick had their issues.
Right.
Yeah, Sean Desai stunk.
Right. It was
there were
the coordinators. The coordinators.
Yeah.
There was nothing about A.J. Brown being a problem.
So,
and in fact, remember, A.J. and Jalen in that year went rogue.
A couple times, yeah.
In that Seattle game that ended up costing them a chance to go to overtime, which was a costly loss.
Yeah.
And
but there was no drama.
There was no drama.
So 2024 happens, and the game against the Carolina Panthers happens. I was at that game, took my dad for his birthday, and they hang on to win it. And after the game, A.J. Brown gets asked what's wrong with the offense, and he said passing.
What needs to improve? I thought it was what needs to improve.
Passing.
And
he did not mean passing like the quarterback stinks.
And by the way, we all came in and agreed with A.J. Brown.
Monday morning,
every one of us. Every one of us. There was nobody ripping A.J. Brown for saying that.
No. It was Monday night.
Yes.
When Brandon Graham goes on a radio show and talks about the issues between 1 and 11 and how 1 is trying, but 11 wasn't having it, and 11 could be better. They're not friends anymore. This is Brandon Graham. I still laugh.
Brandon Graham lit the fuse on this whole thing.
This was media created, and it was Brandon Graham who said it. So Brandon Graham says that, and then everybody starts wondering, all right, what the hell? What did he mean by that? What is this? So Monday morning was, man, they hung on and beat the Panthers. Wasn't good enough. Can they win a Super Bowl this way? Tuesday morning was, what did Brandon Graham let us to believe?
What was he talking about?
What is he saying?
What's the story?
And then Inner Excellence happened. Wasn't it that weekend?
No, Inner Excellence, I thought, was the Green Bay playoff game, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
Okay. But
Inner Excellence was the Green Bay playoff game.
But it was talked about how he had always been reading on the sideline, which I call bull crap on, because broadcasts don't miss anything, right? The Fox production crew, the NBC production crew, the ESPN production crew are some of the brightest people. And there was no videos of A.J. Brown reading a book before then.
No, there was none.
People say he read all the time on the sideline.
No.
I don't believe that. They don't miss anything.
That's a bunch of BS. Bunch of BS that he had a book on the sideline all that time.
So
BS.
the book happens, Inner Excellence, and we're wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah, that was that Green Bay playoff game.
And there was a moment in the Green Bay playoff game where A.J. looked upset. And I get it. Look, offensively, the Eagles weren't playing well. So
they just didn't put him away. They couldn't put him away.
Yeah, so part of me goes, all right, sure, A.J.'s frustrated. I'm frustrated too. I don't see the Packers coming back and winning this game, but the offense didn't look all that great. And then they win the Super Bowl, and it's the post. The post happens where he thought it was going to fulfill something, and it didn't fulfill something. And then all of last year was just weird from start to finish. Is anybody really surprised that this happened?
Not at this point, but when you look at the first 2 to 3 years here, you can be very surprised that we got to this point.
I am surprised.
No, I'm saying after last year played out.
No, not at all.
It was weird all year.
But I mean, it's just he's a weird cat. He's a weird cat.
There was the playoff game against the Giants. Hell, even so, this is actually this is going back to 2022, where Nick Sirianni took him out of the game. He took a lot of the starters out, and AJ got banged up. If you remember, his knee got hurt in that Giants game before they go on to beat up the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. And AJ was yelling at Nick on the sideline. And it was like, well, he just wants to be out there. Yeah, why does he just want to be out there?
Well, at least that was
he
the
wants
only
his
time
stats.
he yelled at Nick on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's yelled at Nick multiple times.
Do you think Nick is not saying, whew?
He's probably also saying, damn.
He's saying great talent.
Yeah.
He's a great talent. Look, and you can like the guy. You can like the guy, AJ, and just go, this guy is exhausting. It's like he's it's constantly having to be assuaged, constantly having to be catered to. And both stories can be true.
But the reward for catering to a guy like A.J. Brown, in some extent, is what you've seen over the past 4 years. You could cater to, and we don't know what he is yet, right? Mekhi Lemon. It's unfair to put his name in, but he was the first guy I thought of. You could cater to him, do everything. Nick Sirianni could put the effort that he put in to manage A.J. Brown into helping Mekhi Lemon. You might not get the same type of player that you got when they're at their best. Well, that's why people went through the trouble.
But they didn't have to cater to him in 2022 when they went to the Super Bowl. They didn't have to cater to him in 2024. It's last year when he just decided to be a JO. It's last year when he decided to blow it up where, okay, well now I'm upset and so I'm going to ruin everything here in the daycare. I'm going to have a bad day at daycare. When mom and dad come to pick up, we're going to find out that little Timmy had a bad day. It really didn't go well. He wasn't a problem. There were little issues along the way, but they handled them. And you say, okay, it's the price to pay with a diva wide receiver. But hey, so there's another. Jeff Kerr has a piece out now for Sports Illustrated on the whole AJ thing. They're all starting to fall. as we knew.
By the way, people are saying that we saw inner excellence well before that game. According to
Green Bay game is what
multiple
I have.
articles, Green Bay was the first time we saw it.
It's the first time you saw it.
And the point I'm trying to make is these broadcast production groups are so good. They don't miss anything. All right, like the Odell Beckham Jr. is making out with the kicking net and back with the Giants. Like they don't miss anything.
I don't know. They missed Nick Castellanos in a near fist fight with a manager in Miami last year.
That's
like,
with all due respect, that's a local baseball broadcast. I'm talking about
sure,
That's
but
that's
I'm
not
talking
that's
about
not
Fox Game
with
of the Week,
32 cameras.
I get it.
NBC Sunday Night Football.
That's completely
there's
different.
a chance he went somewhere where you couldn't see him on camera in the past.
Where's he going in the tunnel?
Where's he going with the ball?
After every series,
know.
he's
Come
going
on
to the
now.
tunnel.
I'm just saying it's not impossible.
I'm just saying these guys don't miss anything.
How does he carry it on
I'm
the
not
field?
even worried about
How's he
the book
carrying
at
it on the
this point.
field?
Like, let's not get caught up in the book. Who cares when he read it? The guy was a bad teammate.
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to get
That's
at.
right. I don't care about the book.
And we excused it for so long. Why?
Because they won.
All right, coming up next, today's headlines with Mr. Inner Excellence himself, Connor Thomas over there. Also, a blurb in Jeff McClain's article this morning that something we'll have to remember as this season goes on without A.J. Brown. I'll tell you what next here on The Fanatic.
And I'm going to tell you that when you visit my friends at Benari Jewelers, you are going to get taken care of like a VIP. And it doesn't matter if it's your first time visiting or whether you've been back 3 or 4 times. Benari Jewelers wants to create a relationship with you, and they're going to make you feel that way the minute you walk in the door. Benari Jewelers has 2 beautiful showrooms, one in Exton, one in Newtown Square. And you can check them out at BenariJewelers.com on the web to get a little comfortable with what they've got for you. What do they have? They've got those beautiful showcases filled with the most sought-after bridal designers that you're not going to find just at any jeweler. They've got one-of-a-kind rings that you're not going to find at the jewelry stores that you might find in the mall. So you can even create your own custom-designed engagement ring. Our own Brendan Gunn did it. He got the yes, and, man, that ring is absolutely beautiful. But here's something you're not going to find anywhere else. How about their industry-leading 110% diamond upgrade guarantee? Your diamond is guaranteed to never lose value when you're ready to upgrade it. So Benari is not only a direct diamond importer. You're going to get the diamond she deserves, the ring she wants. You're going to stay under budget, and you are guaranteed that diamond never loses value. In fact, it's going to gain 10%. So when it's meant to be, remember, my friends at Benari, Benari Jewelers, Exton in Newtown Square, and online at BenariJewelers.com.
right, the day after the trade happens, we've been reacting to it all morning. You can as well by texting the Davis Honda text line, or you can call in as well, 610-632-0975. Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. One quick note from the Jeff McClain article that dropped this morning. Connor read the quote earlier today. There was a player that Jeff spoke to. Obviously, the name is not in the story. One Eagle player said the following quote. He heard what others on the outside were saying about him losing a step, and I think he got too preoccupied with that. We don't think that in here, but he saw Jalen in the pass offense, keeping him from proving that that wasn't the case. So he wants to go somewhere where he can prove doubters wrong.
And by the way, we understand the desire for somebody who's great at their job to want to do that, right?
Sure. So much so that you're impacting the way the rest of the team is playing? I don't know.
No.
Because he hurt the Eagles. The dropsies, that was on him. That was not on Jalen. That was not on the O-line. That was not on Kevin Patullo.
That is correct.
You and I will be the first to rip Patullo.
Yes.
A.J. Brown dropping passes in the middle of the field, nobody's fault other than his. But here's a part of the article which will continue to rehash this Jalen Hurts quiet prove-it year conversation. Hurts' mobility had always made the offense run-based. His inability to make necessary progress as a passer to offset defensive focus on Barkley and the run game last season were central to the worst offensive performance since Nick Sirianni became head coach. There were a host of other reasons for the decline, from having a first-time offensive coordinator in Kevin Patullo to the struggles of an injury-plagued O-line, but Brown allowed the overall dysfunction to affect his performance. But that first paragraph where it's, hey, Hurts not running the football anymore, and Hurts not taking his passing game to the next level. That's why we're having the Jalen Hurts conversation that we're having. It's just getting put on ice right now because the trade took place yesterday. All right, it's time.
And that's fair.
Yeah, time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
And it's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Now, you guys do a wonderful job every day on this show, but sometimes
not everyone feels that way.
Sometimes you miss, and we've just completely missed the biggest wide receiver news in the NFL yesterday.
What happened?
All caught up on A.J. Brown. Odell Beckham is back with the New York Giants.
I said it 7 minutes ago.
And also,
that was a pre-written script.
There's more. Well, it's not a script. This is all off the top. But they also signed Braxton Berrios and Juju Smith-Schuster. All of that yesterday as they continue to have injuries.
What?
They've had a lot of injuries to their wide receiver group. Malik Neighbors still rehabbing. So if you think
Played softball, though, the other day.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Wait a minute. Whoa. Braxton Berrios is there and
Juju Smith-Schuster and Odell. They're getting the band back together.
That sounds like a bad reality show.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I thought Braxton Berrios had a lot of love early on in his career. That kind of fell apart. Juju Smith-Schuster's annoying as hell, and Odell Beckham. We'll see how that.
Yeah, so for anyone who's looking at the Eagles wide receiver room without A.J. Brown, that's just a little piece of reality of what some other teams are doing around the
Anybody have
NFL.
a boat?
Yeah.
Any boats?
All right. If I'm Odell Beckham, I'm recreating the picture and having fun with it.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm having fun with it.
I don't know if Camp Scatterboo is allowed to be on water without a life
John Harbaugh
jacket.
you'd be cut immediately. John Harbaugh would kill you.
He might think
done
it's funny. He has a little
No.
bit of humor.
I
to
go
him.
up to John Harbaugh and say, yo, coach, look, this has been a meme. We got to recreate it
He'd kill you.
and hopefully change the.
No, because they don't want to be the. No, he'd kill you.
I'd recreate the boat.
Yeah,
Oh my
I agree.
gosh, he'd kill
Giants, do it. You won't, cowards. All right, starting tonight, the Stanley Cup final is set. Carolina versus Vegas. Rooting interest. Who do you think's going to win? What are your guys' thoughts?
It's complex, right? Because you know who's playing goalie for one team. I like Torts, so I kind of root for Torts. If I were to root against the Knights, that means I'm rooting for the team that beat the Flyers.
I'm rooting Carolina hard.
I'm rooting Vegas hard.
I don't want to see Torts get one after you ended up firing him.
Look, I had no problem with Torts.
I
didn't
love
either.
Torts. Yeah, I've no problem.
I'll be
with
honest, I thought there was a lot of bad attitudes toward torts.
Most of them in the media.
Now, look, he's got a bad attitude of his own at times.
Oh, yes.
Not going to excuse him of
yes.
that.
Oh, no, he
But,
does.
man, that team last year, like 2 seasons ago, they should not have won as many games as they did.
He gets the squeeze out of the lemon, but the thing is, it's going to be like a 3-year window. That's it.
But I'm a torts guy.
I'm a torts guy, too.
You can like your ex and still want to win the breakup. I want to win the breakup, and if Torts wins,
I'm not rooting for Carolina.
Yeah, but that team knocked you out.
I'm not rooting for a team in my division. Get out of here with that. I'm not rooting for the Giants to win.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting for the Commanders or Cowboys to win. Get out of here with that.
Canesed up. So
That's awful.
I'll
Go
stay
Knights.
on that island.
Go
Ridiculous. The Canes knocked you out. Why would you want them to win?
Did you root for the Dodgers last year?
No.
Well,
Did
then
you
why
root
would
for
you
the
root for
Mets
the
the year before
Canes?
that?
No.
Did you root for the Diamondbacks the year before that?
No. Well, then you wouldn't
So
root for the
clearly
Canes.
it's not. No.
No.
I can root for the Canes. I will be.
Did you root
Speaking
for the 49ers?
of- No. Speaking of getting.
Did you root for the? Are you
Exactly.
rooting for the Knicks?
Speaking of getting knocked out, the College Baseball World Series has not yet technically begun, but regionals have started. And there was a major upset. UCLA, the number 1 overall seed anywhere. This is how their season ended.
Ground ball to third. Into left field. Base hit. Rounding third. Here comes Cody Kashimoto. And St. Mary's has won the game.
So
St. Mary's?
St. Mary's. There's regionals. If you are one of the top teams in your regionals, you go to super regionals, which is where you qualify for the College World Series. UCLA, number 1 team in the nation, knocked out right away.
There's been a couple of big upsets.
And every time UCLA has been the number 1 seed, they've lost in the regionals.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
they've never advanced past the regionals.
wild. We got to talk about those Bruins. Sheriff artists.
All right, real quick. Guys question / baseball question.
Yeah.
So Connor, you might have to answer this.
I am a guy. I like baseball.
I tried explaining this to my wife the other day. So we were out at a bar watching Auburn, NC State. It was on at the TV in front of us. Auburn takes an 8-0 first inning lead. The starting pitcher, 1 pitch in the game, throws up behind the mound. And I'm like, oh, this kid's cooked. Like, he's already like, and then gives up 2 home runs in the first inning. He was a disaster, John.
Okay.
Gets 1 out. They have to pull him. NC State ends up making it a game. Auburn wins 17-13, but they're up 8-0 after 1. I said to Christy, I bet you that guy, the pitcher, is outwardly clapping that his team's coming back, but on the inside, he's saying, damn it, if I just pitch somewhat well, we win this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, dude, that's got to be an all-time bad day.
So
Throwing
he
up
was
behind the
kind
mound.
of secretly rooting for his team to not make it a ball game.
No, he wasn't. No.
I'm just saying.
He wasn't rooting against his own team.
He was probably rooting to keep down his lunch.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's terrible,
Yeah.
man.
That's a tough day on the mound.
Crazy
You get
game, though.
shelled after that, too?
17-13 was the final score.
Wonder how hot it was. Because it must have been that much. Because when you're like got the bad stomach.
He yacked right away,
Oh
man.
my gosh!
1
what a
pitch into
terrible
the game,
thing.
I was like, ooh, that's
That's terrible.
a rough way to go.
Better out
on
than in, I
national
guess.
television. All right, coming up next. Oh, Amy Fadul's going to be in studio. It's a
She will
Tuesday with
be.
Amy. We get her thoughts on the A.J. Brown trade. That happened, and it is finally over. But also, we will go through how good A.J. Brown was with the Eagles, because I can't just move on from the fact that they lost a 1,000-yard receiver. And I guess we try to figure out how they replace it. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A blockbuster day. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles had a blockbuster move yesterday, one that we all expected for a while. A.J. Brown traded to the New England Patriots for a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder. Brown was a 1,000-plus yard receiver in each of his 4 seasons in Philadelphia. The Eagles now have their work cut out for them to replace his production, but Steve Smith was on ESPN talking about belief in Devontae Smith being that guy.
Devontae Smith, he's a number 1 wide receiver. He's been waiting for that opportunity. He runs great routes. They move him all over the field. Now with the new offensive coordinator, they're going to move him around, and he's going to shine and show you that he's a hell of a wide receiver.
But notice I didn't say blockbuster trade. I said blockbuster day, because the Rams shocked the NFL as well yesterday, acquiring all-pro edge rusher Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. The Rams set Jared Verse in 2027 first and a future second and third round pick to Cleveland. That's a move that changes the landscape of the NFC significantly. Phil start a series with the Padres tonight, 6:40 p.m. first pitch at the bank. Aaron Nola versus Randy Vasquez. Stanley Cup Finals begin tonight, an 8 p.m. puck drop between the Golden Knights and the Hurricanes. Amy Fadul joins us next and will be with us for the remainder of the show. And Zach Berman of The Athletic joins us at 9:05 to talk about the A.J. Brown news. This update is brought to you by America 250. This July 4th, celebrated America's Block Party, a can't-miss concert at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, hosted by America 250. Learn more at america250.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
This is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
8 a.m. here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on this Tuesday morning. Mopar chimes in on YouTube.
Is he on the boat or is he?
No, I don't know where he is.
I
but
guess he's got Wi-Fi out there. Right?
he is claiming that he is my therapist, and he says, Andrew, as your therapist, you need to move on.
Oh.
Look, are you really that surprised that we've been talking about A.J. Brown being traded
Seriously.
for the first 2 hours of the show? And spoiler alert, we
Let's
will talk
talk
about A.J.
Sixers.
Brown being traded for the next 2 hours of the show. Now, NBD says it's going to be A.J. Radio all summer. No, it won't be because it's over. It was A.J. Radio all spring, though.
Yes.
Because we were waiting for this to happen, and it has finally happened. We will be able to move on. We're reacting to it today. The story is over for now until a story drops from a McLean or a McManus where we get a little bit more juicy details to it. We'll react that day. But for the most part, we're getting ready to turn the page to Philadelphia Phillies baseball being a focal point of the show, which already has been, and the 2026 Philadelphia Eagles. That does not include A.J. Brown. But for today, we're reacting to the trade. And now joining us in studio for the rest of the show, as she does every single Tuesday, and we love it, from NBC
Good
Sports
morning.
Philadelphia, the great Amy Fadul.
With a nice
Hello.
hoodie.
Thank you.
It is a great hoodie.
Brand represent. Well, I wasn't sure. I had a shirt on, and then I walked outside. I was like, well, I'll be right back. It's
So it
cold
was chilly
out.
this morning?
Yeah.
It looks so beautiful outside.
It's stunning. And I think it's actually getting warmer.
Oh, boy.
Not to
Isn't
give
that
you like a
nice?
weather report. I saw like 6 o'clock. It's about 77 and 1 o'clock, I think
Yeah.
it's like 70. So,
So real quick before we get your thoughts on the trade.
also, I sold it like this morning. I was like, you have to like lean into the heavy sarcasm. I did the morning show. So if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and turn NBC Sports Philadelphia on.
Why not?
There you go.
Speaking of NBC Sports Philadelphia and broadcast crews, we were talking about the inner excellence because we went through the timeline of events.
Yeah.
By the
Because,
way, yes.
like now that he's gone,
Yeah.
it's hard not to realize everything that happened.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it was
even before inner excellence, I brought up the playoff game against the New York Giants where they won 38-7. They took the starters out of the game because they were up 38-7. AJ Brown hurt his knee in that game. When he pulled the starters, Sirianni, AJ yelled at Nick. AJ finished with 2 catches for 23 yards.
Uh-huh.
So why do you think maybe he was upset? Maybe because the statistics weren't there. So one of the things we got into a discussion about was when did the book actually really become a thing? Knowing from my perspective, you would know even more how broadcast crews don't miss anything.
No, they see everything.
We saw it for the first time during the Packers game.
And in
Yeah, it had been out there though.
It had been out there, but not to the
Not to that-
extent of
Yes.
like I'm
Not the
sitting.
overt of
Correct.
like I'm lean back, I'm completely disinterested, and I wasn't reading page 1.
It was.
It was like I'm picking an obvious book or position in this book that is I've read
I am making
multiple
a
pages
statement.
now.
And
Yes.
now that we know more, right? Forget the fact that they won the Super Bowl. Now that we know that he was not totally thrilled with how they won the Super Bowl and he wanted to be traded through 4 weeks of last year, doesn't that book scream a little bit more, let me get the cameras on me than I'm doing this for my mental health and benefit?
You would
of-
never. And the thing is, I will say this: I do appreciate the forthrightness and the just real kind of a little bit of, I guess, I don't know, like vulnerability that he has talked about.
Absolutely.
The mental health
I respect
aspect.
the hell
You
out
have
of
to.
it. Yes.
And he's a type of player that he didn't have to do it. He did it obviously in Tennessee, and he continued to talk about it. But the Inner Excellence book, the book reading in and of itself, and then the posture, everything about that was absolutely,
Look at me.
Staged.
yeah,
Yes.
it has to be.
It's
There's no way-
staged. Just like
so
him making up
we've
photos
all
about
been-
his childhood.
Even if you've never been on the sidelines as a media member. So the media members, you can go down there pregame, you're down their sidelines, you have to exit or whatever, and then you can go down with about 2 minutes left. That's just how it works. So even if you've never been in there and you're in the stands, you guys can look on the sidelines and know what those guys are doing. Think about the forethought to bring a book onto the sidelines. Those guys come out of the tunnel wearing a helmet. They don't have stuff in their hands. There's nothing like you can. So he had to have someone else bring it out, or he went back at halftime and then got it and thought, this is what I'm doing at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty premeditated situation. It's
Yeah.
not a mental health I need to get myself. If you needed to get yourself right, then you kind of go to a quiet place and whatever else. That would have been. It would have been less glaring if he went back to the locker room than if he had sat there with the
So
book.
I said that to John during the break because Connor.
People would have noticed. They would have
respectfully,
been like, "What's going on?"
Connor was saying, well, maybe he went somewhere else to read it. They would have said, why is A.J. Brown going to the
Yeah.
locker room? Is he injured? Let's
Is
check
he
the
going
last
in the
couple
blue
plays.
tent to read it?
It was. He staged a lot of
He
things
staged this.
to make his frustration, which a lot of it we agreed with.
No, we
right?
agree, yes.
Right? We're on the same page.
We felt-
the
we
passing
felt-
offense
we
has sucked
felt
the
we
last
agreed.
2
Listen,
years.
I think everybody, maybe you didn't like the manner in which he did it, but everybody was like, yeah.
Yeah.
you should throw A.J. Brown the ball
No,
more
we
often.
felt the
That's not
frustration.
I
it wasn't
agree.
a
Kevin
huge thing.
Patullo's offense sucks.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Ryan Johnson's offense, also terrible.
There
Oh, my
were just
God.
things that were done that now that he's gone, you realize
And-
that was kind of weird. It's kind of like Gabe Kapler. Gabe Kapler first comes here and you're like, ha ha ha, oh, that's interesting. And then you spend more time with him and you go, oh, this guy's really weird.
I think we thought he was weird from the start.
Agreed.
Now,
The guy, that he was weird from the start.
I
knew
mean
that
that from
one.
a player's perspective because they won 100 games in San Francisco and then next year they won 60.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
a weird dude.
I misunderstood like what you were trying to get to with the book thing. Like I imagine he's read it before at points, whatever. Like I believe that about him. Now, if you think in that moment he was using it in a different way, is proving a point. Yeah, I agree.
Because
He brought it as a prop.
He said he used
work.
read passages from it, right? Like, all right, let me read this
I'm sure he
motivational
has.
passage. I'm sure he has.
Yes.
But that was more than a passage.
And
he was reading chapter 5.
And more importantly is
and he was kicked back.
It was not on the sideline for the Rams game. It was not on the sideline for the Commanders game.
Yeah, why is that? Because they said don't bring it back out there, AJ.
Sort of like where
What are we doing?
Sort of like where Nick Sirianni brought his kids to the Cleveland press conference.
Sort of like when Jeffrey
And-
Lurie spoke to AJ Brown, he didn't go to social media anymore.
And they said, we haven't seen the Sirianni kids back at the press conferences.
yeah. The
They
Eagles
get
are
told-
a well-run
you could say,
organization.
hey, cut it out.
Yeah.
Cut it out.
I think the thing you have to remember at their core, and I always talk to Jason Avant about this, is wide receivers are a different breed. They're a different breed. They are very diva-like, and this is coming from receivers themselves.
Yeah.
They all say this.
And Jason's sort of not.
He is, but he still wants the ball all the time.
Oh, no, I got
That's what he means.
Exactly.
Like, oh, Jason's not. Jason's not that
Exactly.
kind of
He's
like
not.
look at me
He's
type
not.
of guy.
Exactly.
But
But-
if he beats his man, he's open and he
He's
doesn't
like,
get the ball.
and,
he's
then
probably
you'll come back and have a conversation and be like, "Hey, friend, you know what we're doing out there is
Hey,
trying to catch the ball because
here we
I'm,
are."
a receiver." So he said, at their core, that's what they want. He said, just in his experience, he's been around a lot of different guys and a lot of different ways that they manifest that confidence in themselves. This is the way AJ. It's not unusual. Obviously, here we had the biggest example of it in T.O. You don't get any more than that.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
is the extreme. AJ Brown is definitely in that stratosphere now.
It's absolutely in the stratosphere.
He's in that stratosphere of like, wow. I mean, what an amazing talent. What an amazing, Eagles 4-year career here. Just like T.O.
Should
but
have
wow,
been
what
the
a
greatest-
weird time.
Should
Should
have been the greatest.
Yeah,
wide
never
receiver.
So
should've.
I asked this question at work. When was the last time the Eagles had a receiver who had 4 straight years of 1,000 yards? And everybody's like, oh, that wasn't Carmichael. Was it Mike Quick? And I was like, 4 straight years. Like, oh, so I was like, you can keep thinking because it will literally be one name. It's the
AJ
gentleman that just left. It's never happened. So, that's a testament to probably Eagles receivers as much as it is to AJ Brown. But so when people say like they're better off, like they're not better off offensively. But you can make the argument that it became too much. The distraction became too much, and it's not just with him and Jalen Hurts. It was him and obviously Sirianni. That is where the fractured relationship. Really, those two you can't have. You can have maybe one and get through it, like we saw. You can't have both.
Can't have multiple.
Can't
And
have.
But I don't
unfortunately,
think he
they've
had a
dealt
bad
with it.
relationship with everybody. I think the
No.
locker room really, for the most part, got along with him. And I think Jalen Hurts probably tried, but that rift was
The quote in Jeff McClain's
chasm.
article this morning was really interesting. Amy, I'll read it to you. This was from a player inside the locker room. He heard what others on the outside were saying about him losing a step, and I think he got too preoccupied with that. We didn't think that in here, but he saw Jalen and the past offense keeping him from proving that that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I think he definitely felt like he was slighted a lot, which is a receiver type of vibe.
And by the
But
way,
his was extreme.
as Amy's pointing out very vividly and very clearly, he's not the first. He won't be the last.
Nope.
He's one of many examples. But it is factual that nobody ran him out of town. This was an orchestrated effort.
It's also
yeah.
different
And-
because they won. Like,
Yes.
usually
Yeah, this
it's
isn't-
the receiver that's getting 2,000 yards, but they can't win. Or the receiver that had 200 yards in a game, but they lost by field goal. And so, like, Jamar Chase has been vocal about the defense not being good in Cincinnati. Like, he has been –
Look at Calvin Johnson for all those years
Yeah.
in Detroit. He wasn't as diva-like, but he
No.
would be like, can you get us anything else?
Right,
like,
you're
they were
right.
vocal
I'm doing
about it.
everything I can.
One of the reasons he
AJ
walked away.
AJ won.
Yeah, he won the
That's-
ultimate
That's
prize.
what bothers me so much about this is he won, and
Yeah.
it wasn't good enough for him.
Yeah,
and
it-
that's why I'm
'cause it was how
angry
they won.
today.
Because it was like me. I didn't get the ball the way I wanted to.
Daniel is
Still had
a
1,000 yards, by the way.
Yes.
Daniel, one of our listeners, is a licensed therapist,
Okay.
and he says the Instagram stuff from yesterday bothered him greatly.
Oh, what the AI?
With the video or the
The AI
The
creation, the
childhood
AI, the creating,
yeah, the people
creating
that like
stuff
bought into
didn't-
that. God bless people
He's-
that just think that there's actually
He says that's really like
multiple pictures of him with a Patriots jersey.
he
Like,
goes,
stop.
that's really strange behavior. And he said it's something that you would want to dive into. He said, I hope that AJ has his head on right and finds happiness. But that's something that you would really dive into when people try to create a reality that never happened.
Well, Daniel can be your therapist. I got Mopar.
Yeah.
And
Well, Mopar got the boat. He can go out in a
got-
boat and find therapy
That's-
anytime out in the
that's
beautiful water.
not all I
Lovely.
need. All right, so here's the one thing with all this, right? Like, A.J. Brown's a really good football player.
Yes.
And Reuben Frank wrote an article on NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Top 10 moments?
No, but just how he was so good, like
Okay.
some of the numbers. And you mentioned it. The only Eagles wide receiver in franchise history to have 4 straight years of 1,000 yards. The only one. And I brought this up
Which just
earlier.
is amazing in and of itself.
That
Amy,
says a lot about the Eagles receivers.
I know 2024 was like the Saquon show. He had 1,000 yards, 1,079, and he missed 4 games.
Yeah, and 7 touchdowns.
So imagine if he played all 17 games. He's probably 1,300 yards,
Oh,
13
easily.
to 1,500 yards.
Easily.
Are we still having the same conversation? Just because it was mainly Saquon, AJ still had a statistical great season considering the amount of games that he played. He had 13 games played and had over 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah, and I think that for him, if you ask him about it, and he is very thoughtful if you deep dive in there when you kind of put away all the bluster and if he stops with the nonsense, which is very rare. But you do get to see glimpses of that. So when he talks about it, it's the ebbs and the flows, it's the valleys and the peaks. So we'll have one game in that season where he was like crazy.
Yeah.
200, like 180 yards or whatever, and then he'll have the games like you talked about, like 2 for 23. It was the lack of consistent production and the lack of consistent throwing. And he put that on, yes, the offensive coordinator at times, but he put it on Jalen. So in his mind, to go back, like how perception is reality for most people, right? However you perceive it is how that's your reality. So for AJ's reality, he was perceived as you're taking food off of my plate. You're taking money away from me. You're taking stats away from me. I think he conflated those two and thought, well, this is, they're working against me here. At the end of the year, you're like, dude, you had almost 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. You won everything. Like, what are we looking at? Yeah, but remember this game? And you know what I mean? It's that kind of mentally, like, piecemealing or like breaking everything down that I think really bothered him, because he would be like, well, there was this game where I only had,
right.
Because there was games in that season where we didn't hear from him until the second half.
Which
There's
is,
some games
which
we didn't
is
hear from
criminal,
him at
by
all.
the way. And we all said
And
it.
that's the thing.
Everybody
But I
agreed
think-
with him, and everybody said it.
And I remember during that season, you would hear from him and be like, yeah, I know. And everybody's like, we understand. The questions were asked like, hey, I know this offense has not been going well. How do you get it going? And he's like, I'm trying. I think that was like, he's like, I'm doing what I can. I'm getting open and no one's seeing me. So I think he conflated that with Jalen. I found myself yesterday really like trying to find where the rift happened. These guys were, because we had a great retro piece, for lack of a better way, of 4 years of a retrospective of like how everything's happened, right? He got here, they gave up a first and a third, and we're like, the Titans just gave this guy away. The guy was 24 years old, and you gave him away.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? It was amazing. There was the FaceTime. They're best friends. He's the godfather of his child. What happened?
No idea.
I found myself just spending like an inordinate amount of time being like, what happened? So I was like looking at each game. That's like the beginning
I
of the
have a
Rift
theory.
season.
I have a theory. Go ahead, John.
Okay, well, as many had pointed out, the whole best friends thing is a little overblown.
A little overblown.
Right, but they were very
met on,
close.
They met on a recruiting trip. They were close.
It was the
They never
godfather
played
of
together.
his child.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a lot of, and it's been documented in some of the long pieces that have been written about AJ.
Right.
He doesn't have long-term relationships with other males. Like, he doesn't have
Those guys that he
long-term
like
friends.
hung out with all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
Jalen
were
may have
friends,
been
though.
one of those guys
Yeah.
that, he has that relationship.
They definitely were friends. There was
Yep.
just no doubt
Absolutely.
about
I have a weird theory. Curious. Well, I don't think
What's
it's
that?
really weird. Curious your response on it, but real quick, just one to tie a bow on the how good he was here. Do you know that there were only 4 wide receivers that have had more yards than him over the last 4 years?
You mean in the NFL? Yes.
In the NFL. He's had the 5th most receiving yards over the last 4
he's had
years.
5,000 yards in 4 years.
And he's upset about
And
it.
he's upset. Only behind Justin Jefferson. All right, pretty good player.
Yeah,
there.
I'd say he's a good player. Good player.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah,
Those are
that's
the
really
only
good.
4 receivers that had more yards of him over the last 4 years.
Uh-huh.
And he's upset.
How about touchdowns?
Good
He's had
question.
11
I
his
think-
first year and 7 every year after.
Okay, so, is that number something that's pissing him off? Like,
Maybe.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Again, We could sit here forever. And the thing
He
is,
averaged 8 touchdowns. Yeah, it would be. He
I don't
averaged
think
8
we'll ever
touchdowns
know.
a year.
Yeah, 11.
So I mean,
7.
there it is. So that's the. Is that the number that pissed him off? I don't
Question
know.
for you guys. Do you think that he had a similar feeling that the likes of Alex Smith had? We're not going to win this way.
Yeah, no, I believe that. Yeah, I could believe that.
And do
And
you
by the
think
way, we may all three of us on secret ballot or not so secret ballot may have agreed with him.
I didn't. I refuse to believe it. I thought that they could run the football.
Yeah,
no, but
Do
last
you-
year.
No, I'm saying
didn't.
2 years ago.
Oh no, 2 years ago I did. We
do
believed they
you
could win.
think A.J. Brown was a little upset that he was proven
I don't
wrong?
know that he-
If that's what
yeah.
he thought.
I don't know that he thought they couldn't win that way. I think he thought that he didn't want to win that way. I think there was a difference. I think that every football player realizes when you see Saquon Barkley, especially that year, you thought, this is really impressive.
Well, why was the Panthers game the one that set him off the most? Because that was the closest game. That was the game that they almost didn't.
But I think that he thought, like, why would you, when you have the ability to do other things, why wouldn't you also do that?
Well, remember too that team that won the Super Bowl, and I still can't believe we say this. The team that won the Super Bowl almost lost 3 home games to Jacksonville, Cleveland, and Carolina, who were 3 of the top 8 picks in the draft.
Yeah. That Cleveland game
they
still
squeezed
feels
through
like a
those-
loss to me.
They squeezed through those 3 games, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl.
But I think that's where, to Andrew's point, I think that's where maybe the frustration
Yes,
came. I don't know that he
sure.
truly believed, like, we are unable to win this way, but it was like, if sometimes it doesn't work, why not go to the best receiver you have, which is one of the best receivers, as you pointed out, in the NFL in 5 years. It's not even close. He's one of the best receivers. He's still one of the best receivers.
By the way, Sean Rodman did the research. A.J. Brown tied 7th over the last 5 years in receiving touchdowns. So still
Which
top,
is still
top 10.
top 5 and top 7.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like.
He's one of the best receivers,
And by the way,
there's no doubt.
he won more than the other guys.
Right, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
He won.
So selfishly, you got great stats, and selfishly, you won. But it's not enough for you. You can't find your happiness.
That's something inner excellence, he needs to go ahead and reread some of those passages.
That's
some of the passages.
What do we have on the Davis Honda text line?
Drake, man.
Feel the Davis difference. Check him out in Burlington.
This texter checks in, says AJ is very fortunate they won a Super Bowl during his time here. I'm 39 years old, and I don't remember ever an Eagle getting such a free pass for his antics like this. We have 100% changed as Eagles fans after our 2 Super Bowl wins, and I'm okay with that.
Look, it's a big part of it.
It's totally
I
changed.
recognize that.
Totally
The Eagles winning the Super
So
Bowl
soft.
is a reason why A.J. Brown doesn't get the same vitriol that most players in Eagles, Philadelphia sports history would have gotten.
Like,
Correct, Mundo.
hey, he's not giving his full effort out there. But you know what? But we won a Super Bowl a couple years ago.
But I'm greedy.
So ridiculous.
And as Jordan Gecko once said, greed is good.
Gordon Gecko.
Gordon.
Gecko, sorry. I wanted more.
Of course you
Yeah,
did.
we
Of
want to
course you
continue
did.
that.
It's like
You wanted the dynasty. You were the one saying the word. You want more. And you know what? Great sports cities do.
Yeah.
Great sports fan
it's why
bases do.
2018, I wasn't like a lot of my fellow Eagles fans that were like, oh, whatever happens,
that's
happens.
good.
Like,
Nope.
no,
Let's go.
I liked that party.
I was glazed
I
over
want
the next
another
year, and I
party.
admitted that.
The
next year,
Patriots
I was sort of
Did it. Chiefs did it.
They went right
Yeah.
back to it.
Other
go.
teams did it.
And
That's how you do it.
So, like, yeah, I'm
Yeah, there
thankful,
wasn't a fall off, but there was definitely like oh, it's all right.
But I'm thankful for A.J. Brown.
That's okay.
That doesn't mean I'm not pissed off that what I believe they took a hit. Their chances of winning a Super Bowl took a hit yesterday. For 2 reasons. Their trade and the trade that happened with the Rams.
Oh.
But, like, the Eagles aren't as good today, in my opinion, as they were yesterday. Now, we'll see who Sean Mannion is. He
Yes.
could be a freaking genius and can make it work with Devontae, Mekhi Lemon, and Hollywood Brown and company. Speaking of, coming up next, Vegas chimes in. Johnny, I know you're Mr.
Love it.
Vegas. Not just the Eagles trading A.J. Brown, but the Rams trading for Myles Garrett. Believe it or not, one team's Super Bowl odds went up and one
One
team's
went
went down. We'll get to it next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The A.J. era ends. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles' big deal got done yesterday as A.J. Brown was traded to the New England Patriots for a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder. Brown was a 1,000-plus yard receiver in each of his 4 years in Philadelphia. Only 4 receivers more yards in that time frame in the entirety of the NFL. So the Eagles have their work cut out for them to replace his production. But was the compensation that they returned big enough? Well, Tim McManus talked about that on ESPN.
The Eagles obviously are going to miss Brown's production, but let's take a look at the compensation. So from general manager Howie Roseman's perspective, he almost gets back what he gave up and 4 years in between of immense success for Brown. That's a pretty good outcome for Philadelphia.
It wasn't the only major trade yesterday. The Rams shocked the NFL, acquiring edge rusher Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. The Rams sent Jared Verse in 2027 first and a future second, third-round pick to Cleveland, a move that changes the landscape of the NFC significantly. The Phillies start a series with the Padres tonight at the bank, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Aaron Nola faces Randy Vasquez. The Stanley Cup Finals begin tonight between the Golden Knights and Hurricanes. Game 1 is an 8 p.m. puck drop this evening. Amy Fedor remains with us for the remainder of the show. Zach Berman joins us coming up at 9:05 to talk more AJ. This update is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has led inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more at crohnscolitisfoundation.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, it is 8:31 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. A interesting comment to discuss from Neil on our YouTube chat. We'll get to in a few minutes. It is a Tuesday with Amy Fadul in studio with us as we're reacting to the A.J. Brown trade officially happening yesterday in the 4 o'clock hour. They waited for me to come back on the air. I appreciate that, Johnny. They did that for me. The Eagles waited till late in the afternoon. They're like, Andrew's on vacation. Let's wait till late in the afternoon and give them the chance to react in the morning.
Or they gave it to Unfiltered again and kissed their backs.
Well, it's because Bill's an insider and gets all that information.
Well.
Or that everybody and their brother knew that it was happening at 4:05.
So the trade happens, and one of your first thoughts is, all right, how does this impact the Eagles and the NFC and their chances to win the division, all that stuff? And so it's June 2nd. So the only area we can turn to is Vegas, right? What does Vegas have to think about?
I love it. I'm already thinking about it.
So
August 3rd. I think I'm taking a trip out there.
I'll give you the conference first, or Super Bowl odds.
Yeah.
The Eagles dropped to 10th in terms of the ranking of the odds. Believe it or not, the Rams are number 1, and they are heavy favorites. But it's Rams, Bills, Seahawks, Ravens, Patriots, Chargers, Chiefs, Niners, Lions, Eagles. So the Eagles are 10th, 5th among NFC teams.
You want the good news?
Please.
The number 1 team hardly ever wins. Like in the last 20 years, the number 1 betting team at this time of the year hardly ever wins.
What about the number 5 team?
I believe it's 3
or
times.
10.
No, the Eagles have better odds now than when they won the Super Bowl in either year. How about that?
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
So either one of their years they won the Super Bowl. So they're better off on June 2nd today than they were in either one of their Super Bowl seasons.
Now, the division odds I found really interesting.
Okay.
And this is when I start wondering, all right, what is Vegas trying to do here? Because they always try to get suckers.
All right.
Right? We know that.
All right.
The Eagles are still the favorites at plus 140. The Cowboys now at plus 200. Like right behind the
Okay,
Eagles.
here's the deal. Cowboys generate a lot of betting interest.
Yeah.
Cowboys are one of the most popular teams. Cowboys disregard Vegas on the Strip. Cowboys, Packers, Steelers.
Okay.
Cowboys, Packers, Steelers are the 3 most bet teams
Well, just
nationally on the
popular
Strip.
teams.
Yeah. Because
They're
like
popular.
A.J. Brown, I believe the Eagles
Listen,
took a hit
It
losing A.J.
moves
Brown.
the needle. Does it move the needle in favor of
Dallas?
Dallas?
No.
Like Dallas, like
Super Bowl odds, sure. Division, I don't see it.
No, but it definitely put A.J. Brown being off the Eagles, I think, absolutely moves Dallas a nudge closer.
Right behind? Plus 140, plus 200 is right there.
A nudge closer, though. It didn't. Well, but I don't know what it was yesterday.
Yeah,
but
I'm not
it
sure.
moves them a nudge
Hold on, you
closer.
can
Sure,
find
it
that.
does. Like I think that
I'll find that out.
it absolutely puts them closer.
I just
Yeah,
don't
I don't think that's
I don't
that.
think they're that close. I think they still have to fix that defense, and it's getting better.
I think Christian Parker's going to do a hell of a job.
We'll see. All right, Neil on our YouTube chat. Curious. This is
Okay.
an interesting conversation that I want people on the Davis Honda text line to chime in with this as well.
Plus 210 on May 25th.
So they just improved by 10.
Okay. All right.
That's nothing.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. That was only one.
Ask Amy anything.
That's
There you
Fridays.
go.
That's Fridays at the end of the show.
There you go.
So we were wondering why, with all the information that we have, and we had this information, right? Like the
Sure.
book, the being upset with the passing offense. A.J. Brown being traded, nothing new has come out yet, right? Like what we know or what we knew leading up to the trade is what we still know today. That A.J. Brown just was upset with the situation offensively with the Philadelphia Eagles, and you can be the judge of who he was most upset with. But we're wondering why we still, excused it. Like, why did I want him back? Why did Connor want him back? Yes, he's a very talented player, but clearly he was upset here, and clearly he was bothered by it. So Neil chimes in. He gets more of a pass because deep down, many agree with him. And this goes back to the Jalen versus AJ thing that a lot of people have. Joe Santoliquito joined us at 6:30 this morning, Amy. We mentioned him in the first segment. He called in. It was great. A surprise call from Joe. And Joe was like, look, he's in the locker room. If you ask around, there may have been more people that wished Jalen would have been the one moved on from than AJ. They understand that they can't do it. Franchise quarterback and the way the contracts work.
And that the
all
Eagles
stuff.
do not want to at this point.
At this point.
Right.
But he basically made it clear, like, more players would wish that AJ was still the Eagle and that Jalen wasn't.
Yeah.
How many Eagles fans excused AJ Brown because they're worried about what Jalen looks like without him? And hey, hand raised, I've never ran from that. I think Jalen's a very good quarterback. I think Jalen has benefited from what he's had around him. I do.
How do you not benefit from a
What
guy that's a
quarterbacks
top
don't?
5? Yeah.
Right. So, but now that AJ's gone, are people worried about Jalen?
Should be. And I don't mean that as a knock on Jalen Hurts.
No.
I would be worried about any quarterback that lost a top 5 receiver. You don't have AJ Brown is obviously this example, and it's an extreme example because of the high level production, which we just dictated or just enumerated for you. 5,000 yards in 4 years, 11 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, 7. So an average of 8 touchdowns every single year. Top 5 in both those categories during his time here. If his name wasn't AJ Brown, if his name was Bob Smith, I would still be like, wow, I don't know. Bob's not here anymore. Bob had that kind of production. I would be concerned about my quarterback. I would be concerned about my quarterback in ways that were different if it was Patrick Mahomes or Peyton Manning or any of these. I would be like, well, that's disappointing because now he doesn't have that deep threat. I wouldn't be as concerned about, like, is he not going to rise to the level because it would be these guys that you've proven that. But Jalen Hurts was better with A.J. Brown. There's no other way you can say that.
There's no arguing that.
I don't understand that people are like, oh, yeah, no, we're better off.
No, they're not.
Offense is not better off losing a guy that had 5,000 yards for you.
But I wonder, is the fear like, hey, they're not
you thought
better
he's going to get
off,
exposed?
or it's going to be bad?
Yeah, I don't know that I feel that way. I don't feel as confident
He
as I
still has
would.
a lot of weapons. He still has Devontae
He has a
Smith,
ton of
he's
weapons.
Dallas Goedert, he has Saquon Barkley, and oh, by the way, Mekhi Lemon is a first-round pick that a lot of people thought would be drafted higher.
the
So he
cupboard is
still has
not
a lot
bare.
of weapons, but there's no excuses.
There's definitely the little bit of like having like a nice outlet of here's a guy that can go up, big receiver, big tall guy. None of the other guys have the same metrics as A.J. Brown. He's a tall, big receiver. He can go up and high point a ball with the best of them. Do you need to see him run over the middle that much more? I don't know. But it would be nice to have him out there. There's no way that there's going to come a time in the season where we're going to be like, well, thank goodness they got rid of A.J. Brown. He couldn't have caught that. Like, that sentence is never going to come out of our mouths. Hopefully it doesn't matter that A.J.'s here instead of like, well, we are so much better off. I can't imagine us saying that. I can't imagine the fan base being like, oh, so much better. This offense is so much better without A.J.
If
Brown.
anyone's saying that, they're just bluffing. They're just compensating
The
for
hope
themselves.
is that they have enough.
Well, Mekhi, though, I would suggest to you that if someone wanted to spend 10 minutes today just going down the rabbit hole of Mekhi Lemon and just watching him when you're talking about some of the things that A.J. Brown did really well,
Some of
and
them.
watch him. Watch him go after contested balls. Watch him go high point balls. He's pretty talented.
Have you guys
guy.
gone speaking of deep dives, have you done any deep dive like interview YouTube searches with Mekhi Lemon?
Not really.
It's an interesting cat.
Is he?
Oh, he's interesting.
Yep, he's an interesting cat. You should look.
He's interesting.
He's a different dude.
Go Birds, man.
Yeah, he's a different dude.
All right, what do we
I
have
like it, though.
What do we have on the Davis Honda text line?
All right, we have obviously a bunch of people that want their voices to be heard on the A.J. Brown trade. And this texter checking in saying, I will take this to my grave. I don't care how long you played in this city, how many championships you won, how many records you are a part of. If you do not play for this team anymore, I'm going to boo the hell out of you.
All right, one of our questions. Let's check the Davis Honda, not the Davis Honda text line, the Dr. Avedon Appel poll of the day. Poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. It's strong for 4 hours. Amy, it was strong yesterday. I put out a poll myself. I didn't even want to wait. I called
Yeah, let's
Dr.
go.
Avedon Appel and I said, let's
we got another one.
Let's get this thing going now. The poll was if you were at the first Eagles-Patriots game where A.J. Brown returned to Philadelphia, when his name was introduced, you would. And it was just two options, standing ovation or boo. 58% on my poll said give a standing ovation, which I was surprised that the majority of people, it's now 58%, would say standing ovation. But in our dueling polls,
Yeah, the results are a little different. 59% are saying boo on the Fanatic
That's what I would
poll.
expect.
that's what I expected the results to have been yesterday. I don't know what changed. I'm guessing the masseuse theory changed everything for people because yesterday it was 60-40 standing ovation. Today it's 60-40 boo.
You got a soft algorithm.
Maybe that's what it is.
I'll be interested to see how much it changes closer to if Well, I was talking to Connor during the break. Like, one of the things that's going to be interesting, because the A.J. Brown discussion will die down, and we won't talk about him for a while, and then the joint practice will come to be, and then it'll be like, oh, I guess who we're talking about now, and then it'll die down again, and then it'll come in the middle of the season, and it'll be interesting. It'll be ebbs and flows of it. So I think that poll could change based on performances, how he behaves himself, and carries himself. Maybe you feel bad for him after a while, and then Patriot land.
I
Who
won't feel
knows?
bad for him. No, he brought this upon himself.
I'm gonna root like hell against
If
him.
they win 4 games this year, I will
love
laugh.
it.
Yeah.
I will point and laugh. He'll probably kick the crap out of me.
With May, that might.
That could happen.
It could happen.
He could be going to a worse situation. I am expecting him to go to a worse situation. And I will laugh, and I will not be like, oh,
Which
poor
is wild
AJ.
to think they were in the Super Bowl, and I'm thinking it's a worse. I don't talk about, like we were talking about it. Do you worry that Jalen Hurts might take a step back, or be not as productive because he doesn't have AJ Brown, which I think is probably
a fair question to ask.
Absolutely. If Drake May had 4 years of AJ Brown and then he left, I would be like, well, Drake May is absolutely going to be out of luck. Because he would not be able to recover.
I'll tell you right now, the Eagles' passing game will be much improved this year. I'll guarantee it.
Is that more Mannion?
Like the guy at Men's Warehouse. I guarantee it.
I will point out.
It's not saying because AJ's gone.
It's saying because
it's going
it
to be
was
better.
really bad last year.
It's because they were horrendous.
It's a really
going
low
to be
bar.
much improved over last year.
Yes. All right, I'll take that.
All right, coming up next, we have to determine what the big story is, John, because we have a bet on the line with Middays with Marks. What is the level of big story that we're waiting for? Because the clock is ticking. You think it already dropped, the A.J. Brown?
Already 3 stories already dropped from reporters about A.J. Brown. They've already dropped. They're already dropping as we speak.
Were they damning?
I don't know if they're damning, but they're stories that have been waiting to drop that all of a sudden drop. Come on, they already dropped. They had them in the holster.
We'll talk more about what we're expecting to hear next here on the Fanatic. Let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. And now, we only got one series left. It is the NBA Finals. The Spurs come back down 3-2 in the series. They win both games, Game 6 and 7. And now it's Spurs-Knicks in the NBA Finals. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment. Like, if you want to just do a Wemby parlay, go for it. You can do that. Wemby points, assists, rebounds, blocks, and also the Spurs to win a basketball game, go for it. From spreads to player points to threes, there's so many ways to build a same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. They got it all for you. More options, there's better payouts, and it happens all NBA playoffs long. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. You got to be 21 plus. President of Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Got something to say about Philly sports?
All right, it's 8:48 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 Fanatic. It's a Tuesday with Amy Fadul in studio with us. So A.J. Brown gets traded yesterday, and as you can expect, there were articles written right away, or they were written.
I'll say. They got published awfully fast.
Yeah, they were ready to go. It was just
vetted.
Hit the words.
It's amazing.
Hit the send.
Hit the post
Well,
button.
you know what, though? The research that they put into these pieces, they just were double-checking, triple-checking.
It's like when free agency starts, and all of a sudden it's like a 4-year, $185 million deal with all. I was like, oh, that's got.
How'd they get that
1
done so
minute
fast?
in? Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't pick out deodorant at the Walmart
So, but what
that fast.
was the bet a story would drop or the telltale story?
The bet would be is that the A.J. Brown stories about here are the behind-the-scenes stuff of what went on were going to drop immediately within 72 hours. They would start hitting after A.J. was traded. And they did. They started hitting. Joe's fell in the first hour. Now you got McClain, you got Jeff Kerr. Now you have others. Now even you could even count some of the stuff that one of our guests, future in the show, had last night too. That they're waiting to drop them. I have no idea why these stories wait to drop. I have no idea why they're waiting.
Yes, you do. So if A.J. Brown's still here in the Eagle, you can't have that story out there because there's going to be, when you read these stories, there's going to be quotes from anonymous sources, which are in the locker room, a.k.a. players. And if I'm AJ, I know exactly who told that. Now you can tell it because, and I'm sure when you talk to those players, that's probably the caveat. Like, dude, you can't put this out there because he's going to know it's me.
Well, here's what I would say to you.
Or he's going to know it's one of us.
Then how come there could be anonymous sources stories about Jalen Hurts?
Well, that's the thing. You'd have to talk to the players.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that so they can do it.
Well, maybe that says a lot about
not to do it.
Maybe that says a lot about what people think
maybe they're
about
actually
AJ.
Team AJ.
No, but that's what I'm saying is they have an agenda.
I don't know if they have an agenda, but so much as that they just.
Last night I got
they're
into
still telling the story, so how tight are they with AJ?
Last night I get into it, and I think that, and I prefaced it with, I think he's one of the greatest. I love him. Mike Sealski. Love him. Mike was making excuses for A.J. Brown last night. And I said, he's saying, like, I can sympathize with him. I understand him. I understand what frustration he had and everything. I said, yeah, I can understand what frustration he had, Mike. But I also know that he was quitting on routes last year, and whether it was it was being pointed out by Troy Aikman on a national broadcast or was being pointed out by Tom Brady during a national broadcast or others, you got to give full effort. You got to play. You got to think. And I don't care what personal agenda you have as a player. You can't let that affect the team. I don't have any sympathy for that.
Yeah, I think you can have like personal things that can like flow over, but not for as many seasons as it did. Like if it's a one-time thing and your emotions got away from you because you were frustrated
Correct.
and it boiled over and whatever else. If it was a one-off or even 2 games, you were like, wow, that's really frustrating. If you can't get your mind right back to then give your full 100% effort, then that's where there's what are we doing?
I brought up earlier to John, Landon Dickerson, who was, I believe, the most banged-up player on the Eagles last year. That was playing.
I think it was either him. I think Cam Jurgens is a close
All right, so
second.
one of
Both on
those
the
two
line.
guys.
The two of them.
Yay.
Yes.
Could you imagine reading these articles if you're Landon Dickerson going, all right, so ultimately he was just upset because he wasn't getting the ball, and I was out there playing with
with one leg.
broken everything.
Yeah.
That's where
and he allowed his emotions to get the best of him on the field. That's why when I hear I love Andrew DeCecco talking about how he's a great teammate and the players love him. Yeah, the players can love him, but if I'm Landon Dickerson, I might go, yeah, I love the guy, but I played through so much worse on that field.
Correct.
You didn't hear me complain.
That's where Joe, as he said this morning, it is a falsehood to say all the players in that locker room just absolutely accepted and were behind AJ on this. There were players in the locker room who were pissed off about how AJ Brown approached last season. There were players who were not happy with him. And to point it as like, well, they loved AJ. You can love the person and not like behaviors at times.
I think you can get frustrated with him because I imagine in the wide receiver room and some of the offensive meeting rooms, you're watching because they all watch tape back. They watch what happened.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and thinking, you have all the talent in the world. You have all the ability in the world. And this is what we're doing?
What's going on, dude?
Like, what are we doing?
What's going on?
By the way, if you want to see a difference in messaging on your way out. Look at Myles Garrett's goodbye message to Cleveland and compare that to what AJ had yesterday.
Well, his wasn't written by AI?
Yes.
And I'm not talking Allen Iverson?
A lot more heartfelt, a lot more appreciation for a team that didn't win.
Now, wait a minute.
Squat.
He was the guy there, though.
Wait
he was
a minute.
the best player on that team,
But
and it wasn't even
Myles
close.
Garrett create fake pictures of himself in Ram stuff when he was a kid?
No, he's got like pictures of him like over
a
like.
Rams fan as a kid.
Oh,
John.
good. Okay.
AJ Brown was a Patriot.
But if you were, you'd have pictures
noted
of that.
AJ
right?
Brown Patriots fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Growing up.
All right, what do we
in
have
the
on the
South.
Davis Honda text line? Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington.
All right, so we have another check-in here on the AJ conversation. And this texter says, hated to see AJ get traded, but it was coming for a long time now. But boy, am I glad the saga is over. We can move on and focus on this season with Lemon and Devontae and get back to the Super Bowl.
What was your favorite moment of the saga? Other than the end. Can't say the end.
Huh.
Was it Inner Excellence? Was that your favorite? You literally bought the book.
I did like Inner Excellence.
Did you?
Really?
I thought that was so hokey.
I thought it was hokey slop.
Yeah.
It's an interesting read.
Hokey to me.
The book may be good. I enjoyed that, like
gobbledygook, and I bought it too.
That guy's like book became like a an Amazon bestseller.
And he was lucky that it was because it wasn't beforehand.
I think Janky Rondo was my favorite part of it.
That was a good one.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's going on a video game stream.
I like all the Batmans.
And
he
ripping
created the
offense.
Batman
He
situation.
created the Batmans.
I enjoyed that.
Skinny Batman.
He
fat
called
Batman.
everybody
I wasn't
different.
necessarily talking about like the happy times. I'm talking about these.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but you're allowed to think of the happy times with AJ
No,
too.
I refuse.
Because I think the happy times, to me, the happy times
the
far
happy
outweigh as far as numbers. But they're going to be more top of mind. The negatives right now are just more top of
Are
mind.
there
That's the
more
most lasting memory.
Are there more Super Bowl winning teams or dramatic wide receivers?
Dramatic
No,
wide
Dramatic
receivers.
wide
By a
receivers.
mile.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yep.
the Super
It ain't
Bowl.
close.
There's 10 a year. There's only been 60 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but this level of drama is pretty high.
It is pretty high.
It's a different.
I can't
listen,
wait to see
the Hall of Fame of that.
I can't wait to see New England explode.
Well,
or implode.
Yeah, and that could be too.
coming up next, another member who created all the stories. It was all made up. Zach Berman.
That bastard.
From The Athletic.
He would never.
He'll join us coming up next to talk about the trade of A.J. Brown that was finally official yesterday to the New England Patriots. Eagles get a 2028 first-round pick and a fifth-round pick in next year's draft. We'll react to it with Zach and you coming up next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles and A.J. split. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles' big deal got done yesterday as A.J. Brown was traded to the New England Patriots for a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder. Brown was a 1,000-plus yard receiver in each of his 4 seasons in Philadelphia, NFC champion twice, Super Bowl champion once, so clearly the Eagles have their work cut out for them to replace his production. Steve Smith joined ESPN and talked about how he believes Devontae Smith is ready to take the next step.
Devontae Smith, he's a number 1 wide receiver. He's been waiting for that opportunity. He runs great routes. They move him all over the field. Now with the new offensive coordinator, they're going to move him around, and he's going to shine and show you that he's a hell of a wide receiver.
The Eagles have their work cut out for them still, and not just because of what happened in-house. Yesterday, the NFC got much tougher as the Rams shocked the NFL by acquiring all-pro edge rusher Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. A return, Jared Verse, a 2027 first and a future second and third round pick going to Cleveland. The Phillies start a series with the Padres tonight at the Bank, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Aaron Nola faces Randy Vasquez, and the Stanley Cup Finals begin tonight between the Golden Knights and Hurricanes. Game 1 puck drop is at 8 p.m. this evening. Amy Fadul remains with us for the rest of the show. Zach Berman at The Athletic will join us coming up next to dive deeper into all of the circumstances surrounding the trade of A.J. Brown. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
you want to hear more of what Andrew and John have to say. Don't worry, we will. But first, let's hear what they got into earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
No surprise.
They were shocked.
A.J. Brown is a member of the New England Patriots. The Philadelphia Eagles traded away A.J. Brown. They got a first-round pick in return from the 2028 NFL Draft, a fifth-round pick for next year's draft in 2027.
It finally came down yesterday, and it's over. And we knew it was over. There is a modicum of sadness, a modicum of relief. I felt more relief. I think in the long term, I'll look at it and I'll say sadness the way it ended.
How are you feeling now that it is over? What type of reaction does A.J. Brown get out of you? You mentioned relieved and sad. I'm more angry right now. I will eventually get to sadness, and I will eventually give him a standing ovation whenever they introduce the 2024-25 Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field.
No question.
In 2034. But man, you had such a good thing going. What we were looking for was contention year in and year out, and we got it, and they won. There was a chance that they could become a dynasty if they win a second Super Bowl, and that wasn't good enough for one man, and that's the thing that pisses me off. It wasn't good enough for A.J. Brown.
He wasn't happy they won. He was morose about it. He went to social media and was like, it's a different feeling. I thought it would satisfy me, and it didn't, and blah, blah, blah. I knew it was the beginning of trouble because normal people don't act like that.
Now back to the show.
All right, it's 9:02. Obviously, we've been talking about the A.J. Brown trade all day. And we will react more with our man, Zach Berman, who covers the Eagles for The Athletic. He'll join us at 9:05. But real
what's
quick,
he know?
he made this up, too. Real quick. So, John, Amy, Connor, how much – I saw Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network, and he was talking about how the Eagles did right by A.J. Brown because they sent him to one of his preferred destinations. I'm curious, why do teams feel the need to do it? Now, forget it. Look, the Patriots are the only team calling for A.J. Brown, so it's not like there was like 10 teams. Is it because you're so worried
Probably
about
one team that called him like, hey,
I know.
we got one pick.
Is it so much like let's agent, we want to do right
Your
by
reputation as a team and as an organization in the business does matter.
But what if a team offered more?
Well, no, you're not. Well, that's a total thing. You're going to do it. You're going to take the best deal possible, and
Right.
agents will understand that. They'll understand that. They don't expect.
But
you
I mean,
to take less.
they've had months to vet this deal.
Correct.
This is not a deal that came to pass at 3:48 yesterday.
Oh, another storyline that we forgot to add because we already knew he was going. The going on the podcast with Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski.
And the wink.
And at the end, Julian Edelman goes, so we're all Patriots, right? And A.J. Brown looks at the camera and winks.
Everybody's
and people
known this
acted
deal.
like it wasn't happening.
Yeah, this is the least surprising move of all time. Like it's just, oh, really? He
But
went to
to
Patriots?
so many, it wasn't.
I don't understand
And that's
that.
what's
You're
just
not paying
so
attention.
shocking.
But yeah, so I feel like you need to have that reputation, a certain reputation. And listen, look at what the Eagles put out on social media. That's not a social media manager that's just decided to make a 2.5-minute retro piece of A.J. Brown and thought, well, this will be fun to post. That's all, it's all orchestrated by the appreciation and the fact that they wanted to, do right by him. They did appreciate him. It's not like they gave him away for free. I know they wanted a 2027 first-round pick. They didn't get it, but they did get a 2028. And I think the longer you push that down the line, the better chances you are. They did not want the 2026 because that would have been 31.
No.
So with the chances, it was 31 in 2028. I think they're pretty good. They're not going to be 31st pick that's going to come over. But regardless, I think that you have that reputation and you want to have that kind of goodwill put out there. So people are inclined to do deals with you going forward. I mean, Howie Roseman has been at this game for a while, and he's been pretty good at it. So I get what you're saying. It's like, why would a team bother? If there was as much animosity from the team to AJ as there is clearly from AJ to the team, then I think you wouldn't have seen it. But I don't think it's that way. I think they just thought his time has come. We're going to try to do the best we can, but we're going to help you out. But also, to your point, I don't think there was like 15 teams. I'm sure other teams called, hey, what do you want for AJ? We want a first and a something else. Okay, we can't do that. Okay, well, thanks for playing.
All right. Well, just so you guys know, in a little bit, a podcast has dropped in which A.J. Brown was interviewed on it.
Uh-huh.
We will play you clips for that coming up later on this.
It dropped.
hour.
So it was obviously recorded this morning.
Yeah, it happened this morning.
Clearly.
No. 4:30 yesterday.
4:30 yesterday.
They said, and
Yeah.
AJ was at the studio within 5 minutes of the trade happening.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing.
We'll play some clips for you coming up later on
Aren't you shocked?
this hour. But joining
Is this
us
the
now,
Maria Taylor one?
maybe.
There you
Joining
go.
us now here on Kincade and Salciunas on this Tuesday with Amy from The Athletic, our man Zach Berman joins us. Zach, your reporting was always real. It was not a fake story. A.J. Brown was going to be traded. He was traded, and it was to the New England Patriots. Now that it's all over, your thoughts?
Yeah, I look at it like the Eagles did the best they could given the fact that A.J. Brown wanted to play elsewhere. Howie Roseman, his requirement was a first-round pick. They landed a first-round pick. I know it's 2028. The Eagles don't devalue that. But Howie said when I spoke to him yesterday that this is a win-win. I don't view this as a win-win in the sense that they don't have A.J. Brown on their team, and A.J. Brown's an elite player. I think it's one of those things that had to happen, and I think Howie would even tell you the circumstances were such that, they made the most of the circumstances. But if you said to me, are they a better team with A.J. or without A.J., I'd say they're a better team with A.J. And I think it's good that they got a first-round pick. In terms of moving on from him, it's certainly better than some of the alternatives, but I don't think that they are jumping for joy in that building.
I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I do want you to address this because I've heard it from a lot of people is how great a teammate A.J. Brown was. When a guy in the middle of a season says, I don't want to be here, and then there were multiple times where ex-quarterbacks and otherwise were calling him out on national broadcasts for his effort or apparent lack of effort. How is that a great teammate?
Yeah, so I can tell you he's extraordinarily popular in the locker room and even in the organization. And I think there's a lot of dynamics there that kind of go on behind the scenes. But you are correct in that last year there were times when he appeared disinterested and he wanted to be elsewhere. And so, but when you say like his job was to play wide receiver, and he did that better than anyone's ever done it in Philadelphia. I mean, you look at these past 4 years, it's the best 4-year stretch. His down year was 78 catches, 1,000 yards. He was top 20 in the league in yards per target. And so like complaining about last year and you look at the amount of zone coverage that he faced. I mean, there were clearly, there was a lot of things that he had to overcome in that, and he still had a productive year. I'm not saying that his behavior was top-notch all the time, but I'm saying that, yeah, in that locker room, he has a lot of respect, and he is when there are 70 players on a roster and 50 people in the building, there's never like one unanimous view on anything. But I think the overriding sentiment about A.J. Brown is a guy who's very popular in there.
Yeah, well-liked, productive, a special talent. I think the players, as you mentioned, Zach, they recognize that, and they genuinely like being around him. It'll be interesting. It was something that Andrew kind of posed to me, so I'll pose it to you. Going forward with Jalen Hurts, now the problem child in that relationship is gone, for lack of a better expression. How much do you think more pressure is on him to make this offense perform at the level without a top 5 receiver?
Yeah, it's a great point, Amy, because the scenario exists where this looks like it did in 2021 when the Eagles were a playoff team, but they clearly were not a dynamic passing offense. And it's why Howie moved mountains to try to get A.J. Brown. Now, the passing offense was not dynamic enough last year either, but Jalen needs to elevate the players around him. And that's going to be the big thing this year. Now, Devontae Smith is an outstanding wide receiver. I think he's a true number one, and I think he'll show that. Beyond Devontae Smith, there are a lot of questions in that wide receiving core. This is not, the past 4 years, you could say the Eagles have the best wide receiver duo in the league or among the top 3. And I don't think you go into this season saying that. So I think this offense, a big part of of its success is going to have to be how Jalen Hurts takes to Sean Mannion's offense and if he can elevate the performance of the players around him. And I'm expecting an extraordinarily motivated Jalen Hurts, knowing Jalen.
Zach, you're going to answer this question based off of your conversations with A.J. Brown, conversations that you had with teammates of his, coaches of his, and I think some of it's just going to be your own feel on who he is, the person. Do you believe that A.J. Brown was truly, truly happy winning a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, or is this going to be one of those things where maybe 5, 6, 7 years from now, he's going to regret that maybe he didn't enjoy it enough, considering what we know now about what production he wanted to do as well?
Yeah, good question. I mean, he was pretty explicit about that the Super Bowl wasn't fulfilling within itself, right? And it's dominating, he said, and being, there's. I think he was obviously happy that he won the Super Bowl, but he said he wants to put a stamp on being the best receiver in the league. But I also think that the grass isn't necessarily greener. Like, I understand there are a lot of dynamics at play here in Philly, but it wasn't all that bad over the past 4 years. I mean, 4 1,000-yard seasons, 4 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowls. Like, I think, I don't know if the New England situation is going to be that much better. But yeah, AJ wants to be the best, and there's the personal performance and the personal dominance and the legacy, and I think that's a big part of that. And but I don't think that's mutually exclusive from team success either. Like when the Eagles were at their best, A.J. Brown was a dominant player.
Do you believe that the passing attack this year with the crew that they've assembled, and you're going to get a better look at them, upcoming this week, is going to be able to be better, far better? I should say far better than what they said last year.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the bottom half of the league in passing production last year, right? And that was with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Correct.
So I think that they can be better than they were last year with a new offense. If Jalen takes to the offense they have a lot of depth there. I think Devontae's really good. Dallas Goedert's going to have a big role. We'll see how Mekhi Lemon comes on. But I think they'd be better if they had A.J. Brown in this offense, right? And so, yeah, I think they can be better than they need to be better than last year. If they're a bottom half of the league passing offense, it doesn't really bode well for how they'll be as a team. So I think that they can be better, but I think they'd be better if they had AJ. I just think it was an untenable situation, and we can all see it wasn't going to work out that way.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we were just talking. The AJ conversation will die down. It'll come back up again during training camp when they have the joint practices, and it'll die down during the year. But you're wondering the success. You mentioned the grass isn't always greener, and I was just watching a clip this morning, Michael Felger and some of the guys up in the Boston area saying a little bit like buyer beware, right? This is exciting for them, but do you take the good with the bad? And I think a lot of people around here I was definitely one of like, I'll take the good with the bad because the good is really good. How much do you think that it's going to be some of the same stuff up there in New England?
Yeah, I think at least initially he's going to be awesome.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's
unicorns and rainbows and roses.
I think there's going to be a year or two there where he's going to be one of the best players in the league, and he's going to elevate that passing offense, and it's going to be great. Now, I think that he's at that age 29, age 30 season in these next 2 years. I can't tell you what he'll be beyond that, but I think there's going to be a 2-year period here in New England where A.J. Brown can be elite. And I wouldn't bet against A.J. Brown. I've been at every Eagles training camp practice for the past 15 years, been at every game other than the COVID year, home and road. And he's the best wide receiver I've ever seen.
Yep.
When he's on, he is incredible. And so I should say best wide receiver I've ever seen in an Eagles uniform. So he is, and I don't think he's fallen off a cliff yet. So maybe 3 years later, the conversation is different, but I would bet these next 2 years they're happy up in New England.
Zach, we appreciate the time, man. Great
Thanks, Zach.
reporting
Good stuff,
on
Zach.
this story throughout the entire saga, even when he was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles and then the offseason, and, of course, up until yesterday's trade. We appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you again
Father's
soon.
Day right around the corner. Grab some of Zach's books.
Yes,
Right.
plenty of
I
them.
appreciate it. The AJ chapter now. It takes on different meaning.
There you go.
You can write an AJ book now. Just the story of AJ Brown. I'm sure
He probably
people will
has
read
it written. He's just waiting to hit send.
There'd be a lot of chapters in that. I would want AJ to read that on the sideline, though.
Yeah, he'll make sure the cameras are on him. Thanks,
All right,
Zach.
thanks,
We
guys.
appreciate the time. There he is, Zach Berman from The Athletic. It's amazing. It keeps on popping on my timeline, the Brandon Graham.
Uh-huh.
When it all started. That's when we really.
That's when it happened.
Yeah,
Because
that's when
before
it
then, we
started.
didn't.
That's when we knew about it.
And that's why I keep on saying, I think it's mainly football because he's greedy. He wants the ball.
Sure.
But you can't go from riding the high of quote unquote best friends, godfather of the child, winning a Super Bowl to I want out. Like there's got to be a little bit more than just football. I'm not.
I think it's the reaction to, for me, again, like I spent an inordinate amount of time yesterday on this, just trying, because it was just so puzzling to me. Like, how in the world do you have like a deterioration of a relationship to this extent? And I thought, I was like, well, let's put myself in A.J. Brown's shoes. I'm the diva, and I'm like unhappy. And I go to my buddy, and I'm like, dude, you got to get me the ball. If my buddy then continuously just blows it off and says, like, doesn't validate my feelings, that would start to fester. And for AJ,
it would, and any one of us would feel some of that.
If you feel slighted and you go to the person that you feel is slighting you, or a person that you think can at least help you feel unslighted, for lack of a better way to express that, and they don't do anything to kind of validate your feelings or at least try to address them with you or help you with any kind of issue you're having repeatedly. And I'm not saying that's the case, but to me that felt like it. Like if he was going to him, and we heard about that, it was like the Brandon Graham like kind of thing. It was like, listen, these guys are having problems because AJ wants to have the ball more. Jalen's maybe not addressing it, saying it's the offense. You're the quarterback. You're the quarterback of the offense. You're my guy. You're the one that's going to help me get the ball. How can we get on the same page? And if that relationship never progressed by that point where the other person's not helping them, I would imagine that for an A.J. Brown, with the way that he feels his feelings, I imagine that festered to obviously an untenable point.
Yeah. All right.
But
so
it is wild to think about.
We have a clip. The Maria Taylor. So you guessed it right.
I know Maria well.
I didn't want people running away because we had the great Zach Berman on. Maria Taylor is a part of the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast. It's usually hosted by Carmelo Anthony, but she was able to do an exclusive one-on-one interview with A.J. Brown. Believe it or not, this was pre-planned.
Amazing.
It's as if they knew the trade was going to go down yesterday.
Great job on Maria's part, having the contact and getting it lined up and getting the scoop that everybody wants.
So it's about a 20-minute sit-down, 25-minute sit-down. So Sean Rodman hustling in the back. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Recording, grabbing, clipping. We have one here specifically with the Eagles. Connor, do you want to set it up?
Yeah, so he was asked essentially about the fractures that come with the success, and he talked about the way that he handled stuff, and he mentioned social media. He talks about everything that went into that, and then he also talks about the leadership in the locker room. So here's what AJ had to say.
Not every moment I can say I handled it the best way, especially the ones was on social media like that. That was wrong, and me taking accountability for that. But with my teammates, I feel like I handled the things correctly. We had tough conversations. We had face-to-face conversations, and we talked and we pushed each other, and we didn't really care who was uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I feel like as a leader, sometimes, that can be frowned upon from the media. But, there's always that one guy in that locker room who pushes guys and hold people accountable. And that was me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't mind being viewed as whatever picture was painted me out to be, because I know, like, my teammates know, like, I had their back.
So I'm going to jump real quick. The media thing is so weak because I like that he's a leader. I like that. I like uncomfortable conversations. We have them here.
By the way, nobody,
you know what I mean? Like,
nobody ripped him for that.
A.J. Brown.
That's pure fiction that happened.
What he said about the passing offense.
Perception is reality for him.
But wait a minute, though. But it's fiction.
What he said after the Panthers game,
felt.
we all agreed. Everybody agreed that the passing offense was a problem. What he was accurate about was saying, I shouldn't have handled it the way that I did with social media.
Appreciated that.
Yes,
and
I appreciate
everybody
that too.
hated him taking the social media. Even though we didn't disagree with the message necessarily, you were 4-0. You just beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You just won the Super Bowl 7 months earlier, and you're on social media complaining. And it wasn't because you're upset with how the offense was being run in terms of how it looked. It's because you weren't getting the ball.
But you can't create a dialogue with Maria Taylor over something that didn't happen.
Well, he's going to make it.
Where was the media thing about that? That never happened.
But he feels like it happened.
Yeah, it's his perspective that we're getting.
Well,
you can disagree with it. But
Yeah, and I'm
Wait a minute,
calling it
can't-
out.
You
But you
can't
understand.
make up something
You
in
can,
your
though.
head.
So in
will.
his
Absolutely
mind,
can.
social media is the same. For a lot of athletes, social media is the same. So they're not talking about just like the Zach Bermans and the Jeff McClains.
Right.
They're talking about anything that they ever read, whether it was attached to a post they put or was any kind of stuff. There are guys that Kevin Durant is a perfect example. They can't stay off the internet.
Then what I would tell them is then, with all due respect,
They're
you're
not going to listen.
You're a simpleton.
So, but
They're not
you
going
are
to
a
listen.
simpleton
Here's the
if
deal.
you look at Zach Berman as
Right,
the
but
same
it's
way
just-
you look at
they think it's just
egg 4259.
my point is I think they think media is an
But they're
all-encompassing.
not- social media is not media.
That is 2026. There very
It
few
is
people.
now.
But it isn't.
But that's you. I'm telling you, if I go to any school right now, probably not like Temple, but if I go to any like high school or middle school and ask those kids like what
Podcasts,
they think
YouTube.
whatever they see is just I saw it on the internet.
John, we literally talked about it earlier. And hold the music for a second, Connor. Like, people did not believe what Tim McManus wrote and what Zach Berman wrote,
because they have all these other people.
But there's this guy on Twitter saying that A.J. Brown and Hassan Reddick were both flirting around with the same masseuse, and they're taking that as gospel. Yeah. So when A.J.
interesting.
Brown says it, I get what you're saying, Amy. Here's the deal. He does the whole, I handle it poorly on social media. Then don't do it with New England.
He will.
He will, and then I'll point to it and say he still hasn't learned.
And this is so crazy because 2 years ago we did the piece with Mike Sealski where he talked about how because of his mental issues he needs to put social media down and it's a big problem and everything and he doesn't want to do it anymore, and then he goes and does it again and then does it again.
It's addictive.
He doesn't mean it when he says that I'm sorry I did that, because he does it again.
Yeah.
And he does it
And
again.
sorry for the repercussions. For it. He realizes it was bad. Doesn't mean he's not going to do it again.
So
it's the only outlet he feels.
And social media and media are different. And if A.J. Brown as a 29-year-old man can't understand that, then that is a simpleton.
I don't remember.
I'm sorry,
I
that's
don't
a
remember a
simpleton.
reporter
There's
pushing
people
back
that are in
on
their
him.
70s that don't understand
That's
the
crazy.
difference.
All right, well, coming up. check out Facebook. Andrew, is this real?
Oh my God! We've all seen it on
Dad.
Facebook.
We have seen
No, Dad,
Yes.
it's not real.
And I mean that in the nicest way, but it's not real.
I heard. No,
I
you
have
didn't.
I have to alert Facebook to take my ads off.
All right, coming up next, we'll get more of these clips. Again, the podcast has dropped. Maria Taylor, one-on-one with A.J. Brown. We'll work to continue to play more for you. He apologizes for his actions on social media, but he's saying it was to hold his teammates accountable. If I read that and I'm a teammate, I'm pissed off. Quite frankly, it's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The deal is done. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles' big deal got done yesterday as A.J. Brown was traded to the New England Patriots. A 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder come back from New England. And it was a great run here in Philadelphia with the A.J. Brown era. 1,000-plus yards in each of his 4 years receiving with the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got their work cut out for them to replace his production. But the compensation, well, for some, surprising. Tim McManus talked on ESPN about what the Eagles got back.
The Eagles obviously are going to miss Brown's production, but let's take a look at the compensation. So from general manager Howie Roseman's perspective, he almost gets back what he gave up and 4 years in between of immense success for Brown. That's a pretty good outcome for Philadelphia.
It wasn't the only big move in the NFL yesterday, as the Los Angeles Rams made a huge addition, acquiring Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. The Rams sent Jared Verse, a 2027 first and a future second and third round pick to Cleveland. And now the NFC looks significantly different with a Super Bowl contender getting even stronger. The Phillies start a series with the Padres tonight at the bank, 6:40 p.m. first pitch. Aaron Nola versus Randy Vasquez. Stanley Cup Finals begin tonight between the Golden Knights and the Hurricanes. Game 1 puck drop is at 8 p.m. Amy Padula remains with us for the remainder of the show. This update is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has led inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more at crohnscolitisfoundation.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
through John Connor, Kincade Salciunas, Philly Sports Talk, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
The final hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, so A.J. Brown sat down with Maria Taylor. A.J. Brown, of course, traded yesterday to the New England Patriots. Eagles get back a 2027 fifth-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick, as Adam Schefter had been saying for weeks on this show, that the Eagles would get a first-round pick in 2028, and then all of a sudden
then everybody else jumps on that and it's like,
grifters,
yeah, I had that. Yeah,
I've been hearing this.
I've been hearing that it's a first-round pick. Adam,
maybe they're listening to the show. I don't know.
Adam had it. By the way, the best thing is Adam said it on our show before he said it on ESPN's platform.
Oh, damn right.
So that's even better.
Yeah, you know how I knew
we
it was
also
gonna...
asked first.
Yeah.
Yes,
you know how I
that
knew
is
it was
true.
happening yesterday? It's because I heard on your show that he was like, I'm going on golf vacation
Yeah,
on Tuesday.
and
Well, that's what I said all along.
Oh,
that's what I said to Andrew.
That's all I needed to hear, that it was happening on Monday.
I said to him, it absolutely means that the deal was going down on the first.
And man, did I play my cards right.
Why?
I took off yesterday. Trade didn't happen until later on in the day, and I'm back, baby.
I'm like, I knew it was happening then because he wouldn't have taken off.
So AJ was on the Maria Taylor's podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, and last segment we played you the clip where he apologized for his usage of social media, but he was saying, look, I was the guy holding people accountable. I like having tough conversations, and people were upset by that. Nobody was upset by it.
No one holds he doesn't
People
hold
were
the
upset
mirror
that you went to social media when you were 4-0, 6 months after winning the Super Bowl, and you were upset with it. So there's more, as you can imagine. Here is A.J. Brown talking about how he is not the villain in this story.
I wouldn't say a villain because some of the things that was done, it was done purposely to give us a push. You know, I know if I say something in the media, I know it's gonna propel us to work on it because now everybody's talking about it. You know, so it's like, are we gonna fix it or not? You know, we can't keep saying it. We can't keep saying it's a standard. It's a standard, and we're not trying to truly get better. I'm not saying that we were, but I know if you say what you need to say in the media, which I won't do that anymore, but it gives everything legs and legs to push and to push everybody to be better. Because pressure isn't always a bad thing. It can also be a good thing too. It just depends on how you look at it. And we had guys in the locker room, which was honestly I felt like it was okay to do because we had guys in the locker room who were men, you know. And it's like, yeah, well, I know I need to do this, I need to do that, including myself. Nothing I ever said was for personal gain. It was always to help this team win and try to be our better self.
All right, well, hold on a second.
Well, first off, the shot at Jalen, the subtle shot that the man takes the subtle shot at Jalen. We can't just keep saying the standard's the standard. The only person who said that was Jalen. So if the man would say Jalen said, but instead he does the subtle little, let me do the subversive little shot at Jalen.
So he talks about
Like a
how
child.
if he put it out in the media, like, you know,
Now everybody's going to talk about it and it's going to focus us.
and nobody disagreed. What he said, I will go back to that Panthers game 1,000 times.
Nobody disagreed.
What he said, yeah, man, it needs to improve. We all
Triple
agree.
thumbs up. Everybody was all over.
Needs to improve. Spare me the I never did it for personal gain thing because
Stop.
at the time, what was the Eagles' record? Like 11 and
They were
2?
the number one seed. They were the number one seed. He's so full of it.
Like
He's so full of it.
You can't tell me you were doing it because, yeah, they were 11. So that
Yeah,
win put them at
let's-
11 and
All right,
2.
so you say, I put it out there that we need to be better offensively to help everybody. Factually true.
Factually true.
Also true, you wanted to help yourself. And that doesn't mean that he wanted just to pad his personal stats. AJ had been very vocal. We are a better team when I'm more involved. That is a factual statement. That's a statement that's true today. It was true 2 years ago. That's going to be true in 5 years. The Eagles are a better team with A.J. Brown. Zach Berman was on here just a moment ago.
Yep.
That's not an untrue statement. But to say that you didn't think, well, it was completely altruistic and I just want us to get better. Well, if you just wanted us to get better, then you wouldn't have created this whole storm about you needing to be more involved.
Very next week.
He's unbelievable.
You can still say, like, yeah, I also wanted to get myself more involved because I think we're better when I'm good.
Very
He
next
is
week,
exhausting.
when the Eagles beat the Steelers, He had 8 catches on 11 targets for 110 yards and a touchdown.
I remember thinking that was a bad, like when he said all that, I was like, oh, they're going to feed that guy big time against the Steelers. And they did. They heard it.
Devontae Smith had a good game, 11 catches, 12 targets for 109 yards and a touchdown. Those were the only 2 guys that had at least 2 receptions that were receivers. Do you think he was crying for Jahan Dotson or Johnny Wilson or Grant Calcaterra?
No.
Or Dallas Goedert?
No,
because he and Devontae are on a different level. So if they're eating, all is well. He is at the top. He's the top dog.
Yeah.
And if the top dog eats, he's excited that everybody else has gotten a little snack. But that's all. That's a wide receiver. That's not. I mean, that's obviously AJ to the extreme. That's a wide receiver.
I can't believe.
Yes, you can.
You're right. I can. But I thought he's had months to prepare for that.
That
These
shows
answers,
you where he still feels that way.
He's absolutely delusional. This guy is delusional. He's living in a fantasy world more than the pictures he makes up of his past. Seriously,
He's also selling himself.
He's selling a fantasy world that he creates for himself that isn't true. Like he creates these, like the things that didn't happen. Like, well, the media will come after. No, the media never came after you, dude.
We
never came after you.
We agreed.
We agreed with you.
I don't remember, and I'm talking both stations. I don't remember anyone saying AJ is wrong for what he said against.
It was the way that he said it. So, but you have to understand, in AJ's probably brain, he conflates those two. So because we came on and said, like, we absolutely agree. Of course it has to be better. That's ridiculous to have that few involvement with the best receiver in a game where you still won. It's just, you won despite yourself. It was the way that the next commentary was, but you can't say it like that. So he probably only hears that. Do you know what I mean? If you're a negative person and you're like in that, you're mired in that negativity zone
of being in your phone,
own little like
in the phone. Where it is.
Woe is me. You're not going to hear if someone says like, "Hey, you can do this, this, and this to get out of it," or if you want to sit here and sulk, that's all you're going to hear. You know what I mean? You're filtering out all the positive stuff. So I'd imagine all he heard was like, "Yeah, but you can't do it like that."
Okay, then that's a great way. That's a great way to explain it.
That's what
that's a great way to explain it.
My AJ Brown, again, I spent way too much time.
No, but that's a great way to explain it, though. Because that just opened up a window to me to go,
that's how he was.
Okay, he's just, because you have people.
He lives in that.
I've worked with people in this industry that when they do, like, they have a boss who critiques you.
And they only hear them.
And you can go into a critique session where the boss will literally say 4 great things you did.
But the one thing
will piss them off. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
You said 4 things you did great.
People like that in every walk of life. We've all encountered people that just have a negative type of, woe is me, Eeyore.
Yeah. Oh,
Eeyore, yes.
Absolutely.
Eeyore, yes.
It's sunny, but there's one little drop of rain.
All right, well, coming up next, last week when Jalen spoke for the first time, he was asked about his relationship with AJ, and he said that we're still good.
It's exactly where I had at the end of the season. That's what he said.
AJ was asked about his relationship with Jalen.
Uh-oh.
We will play that clip for you coming up next. Also, on the podcast, he admitted that throughout his time with the Eagles, he had a Patriots rug in his house.
It's
sure
unbelievable.
He did.
Of course
That's
he did.
Weird.
Of course he did.
He didn't either. Stop it.
Are you sure?
No, just like he had the childhood jersey.
The childhood jersey that he
did have a signed Tom Brady jersey that he basically cried when he opened up.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot of people that want to sign Tom Brady.
I'm telling you.
I'm not one of them.
He needs.
No, he's already in there.
He's a Patriots fan.
Needs more of it.
All right, his thoughts on Jalen Hurts. You'll hear that clip coming up next. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Amy with us here on the Fanatic.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament right on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single match from the opening stage all the way to the final. Argentina took it all home last time. Are they going to do it again? Well, they're trading at 9% to winning it all. But Lionel Messi's still there, so maybe you want to take that shot. A $100 trade pays out $1,044 if they win soccer's biggest prize. And on Kalshi, the best part is you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position whenever you'd like. So for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANATIC to get $10 when you trade 10. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, where you can trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
In Middays with Marks. Now more of Kincade and Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Yep, we're here. Middays with Marks comes your way at 10 o'clock. Johnny Marks, Sean Brace, Ray Dunn. You got Kincade and Salciunas with Amy Fadul until then. And we have another clip for you to hear. Maria Taylor was able to sit down with A.J. Brown as if they knew the trade was going to happen yesterday, Johnny.
It's amazing that this went down like that.
So quick.
It's amazing.
Last week,
because Jacina Anderson was totally fooled. She said, this deal's not done. Jacina's got bad info.
Well, they were working for the 5th round pick, John.
She got bad info, man.
So last week, Jalen Hurts was asked about A.J. Brown,
That's
and
exhausting.
he talked about he still loved him, and the relationship's the same as it was when the season ended. Well, now it's
I
A.J.
think it was
Brown.
I still have love for him.
A.J. Brown's turn to talk about Jalen. Here's A.J.
How would you describe your relationship right now?
Not as close as we once were. And I believe that's fine. It's like there's no bad blood. There's actually still a lot of love. I love him. I love him to death. I want him to succeed and accomplish all the things that he wants to accomplish. I didn't truly understand why our friendship became the public of the center of everybody's attention when it came to football, because, you know, looking back on it, you know, we haven't been as close as we were a couple of years now, but that didn't stop anything. You know, we still competed, we still pushed each other, we still led the team. So it was just kind of strange, you know, people just got so fixated on the relationship and wanted to talk about maybe from the history of this place, but, you know, that wasn't what this was. You know, and I'm gonna say it to you, I say it on camera, I got nothing but love for him. You know, I want him to do well and accomplish everything this heart desires. So
I think at the end of the day, people always just want to know why, and there's an understanding that people grow apart. What is the best way that you can put a description so people can understand?
Yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happened, you know. You know, people just grow apart. Nothing happened between me and him or our families, wives, anything. Nothing like that ever happened, you know. But you know, life happens, you know, and you know, you just look up sometimes and you find yourself drifting away, you know, and that's fine. And I think both parties accepted that.
So the reason why we obsess over it or talk about it, I don't want to say obsess over, talk about it, is because it's been talked about how his emotions got the best of him on the field.
Yes.
And it's hard not to think, well, maybe is it because you were really good friends with somebody, the guy that throws you the football, and now you're not necessarily that close. And he admitted it.
I thought that was a very
that they're not as close.
I thought that was a very
well
genuine.
described.
Yeah,
You know, listen, we're still friendly.
and that's
We're
why
not
I'm
as
talking.
close
And
as
that's
we
why
were.
we're talking about it.
And you can still love somebody and feel love for them, but not really feel the need to be heavily in their lives or close to them anymore.
Yeah, there was obviously a deterioration of that relationship, and I think that him saying that we grew apart, it obviously started with the stuff on the field. There's no other, because he said there's nothing more to it. Well, the only thing that is to it then is your relationship on the field, and that obviously deteriorated enough between a quarterback and a receiver, which happens regardless if you had a prior relationship or not. It happens. That one obviously was to the point where it had rolled over and then affected their friendship.
I think it goes back to the answer that we played before the commercial, where he said, well, you can't just say I'm the guy who holds people accountable, and you can't just keep saying the standard is the standard and expect things to change.
Yeah,
That is a direct shot at Jalen.
Yeah, I think at its core, he probably feels slighted by his friend.
Right, and I think he thinks, Jalen, do more.
Yeah.
Jalen, do that. And guess what? I think the fan base would have stood 100% behind AJ.
It was the way that he said things. I think,
Correct.
again, so that's when it goes back to where he's just like, well, the media jumped on me when I tried to say something. It wasn't the fact that you said something. It was the way you did
And
it.
100% of us, like every single one of us, whether it's Connor or you or me or Amy or whatever, we all would have backed AJ in that if he says, I want Jalen to do more. I want Jalen to demand more, say more, whatever. Don't just say the standard's a standard. Nobody would have ripped AJ Brown for that.
Let's go back to 2023.
Nobody.
John, I'll let you. John, I'll let you answer the question. What bothered me the most in 2023?
Which one?
With Jalen Hurts. What bothered me? We've talked about it a couple of times.
I absolutely believe, and I think it's something that to me is a bit of a turning point. Is that he said when they were 10-1, and Jalen kept saying it's winning. That's the standard. Winning is the standard. Everything, and then. When the performance, but he kept saying about, how we play, got to play, playing matters, how we play matters and everything. But then when they started to lose and people questioned about it, you were upset about it.
So throughout the year, it was, the standard's the standard. We're not playing well enough. We're winning.
Right.
Kind of what AJ's saying.
Yeah.
We're winning, but we're not playing 2
hours. It doesn't look good.
But then at one point when it started getting tough, it was, well, since when did winning not become the main thing?
Correct.
And I wonder
you sniffed that
I
out.
heard the second I heard Jalen say that, I was terrified.
No, you did you
show
did
on
a
it.
red.
I hated
no,
it.
you did a red flag show. Like you were doing the show for Cuz.
Yeah.
And you did like the red flag, like, uh-oh.
That is an absolute
This is a
danger
red
zone.
flag.
You can't all of a
Something's
sudden
wrong.
change your tune from saying one thing all year to now all of a sudden, since when is winning not the main
Because
thing?
the pressure was on.
And maybe A.J. Brown noticed it. And then in 2024, maybe A.J. saying the same thing, but the Eagles won.
Right.
Because the ground game was so freaking dominant, but he didn't like it because
And we
it
would
didn't
all
go his way.
support.
And then 2025, the offense looked like we know Will
And we would all shoulder to shoulder with A.J. Brown on the frustration with that.
Yeah.
Every one of us.
There's no doubt. It was
Like,
a bad offense.
I think
It looked bad at times.
You're very.
Should get him more involved.
You were so
These are all-
insightful last segment. Like you literally opened my mind to something where it was sort of closed and opened my mind to something. But I'm saying is that does he just? Do you believe he just sees the world against him?
I think people, I think there are certain aspects that he probably looks at and thinks, if this wasn't done to me, then this wouldn't have happened. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to say it's the victim mentality because I don't think it's that far with him. But I do think that you could just hear in that it's just like, listen, these things happen, but I tried to do my part and it didn't work. That's kind of the overarching thing when you're listening, and I'll dive deeper into the podcast. But those two of the clips we played were kind of all like, I was trying, I was putting myself out there, I did what I could, and it didn't work out. To a person that
me.
a lot of you have
all,
that kind of mentality,
His answers are
which
all
is
me.
fine. I mean, listen, because he is the way he is why he's good. Like, it's hard to be both. You can't be humble and really, really good at the football usually, especially receiver. But I think because he has that mentality, then when one thing goes against him, it's exacerbated, right? And so you have that kind of like, oh, now everybody's against me. Well, no, I just was pointing out the one. No, this is it. I tried. I did what I could. You know what I mean? I just think that they kind of latch on people like that. And I'm not saying that A.J. Brown's exactly like that, but I feel like that he's the type of person, if you tell him 17 good things and one bad thing, he will latch on to the
You're
bad
bright,
thing.
Amy.
You really are, Amy.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. I spent a lot of time on this
I
yesterday.
really feel like I learned something listening to you, Dave.
Why we bring you around here, Amy?
I'll see you guys on Friday.
See you on Friday. Fridays with Fadul. Maybe
you
there will
then.
be more A.J. Brown stuff to react to, or maybe we will
I'm going to
completely
need
go
an
away.
Eeyore kind of like Photoshop situation.
I need a couple
It seems that
hours.
way.
I need a
It
couple
seems that
hours
way.
before I go back
Yes.
to A.J. Talk.
Exactly.
All right, Middays with Marks comes your way next. Johnny Marks, Sean Brace, and Ray Dunn. I'm sure there will be more to react to starting at 10 o'clock here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A.J. Brown traded. I'm Connor Thomas and the Eagles.